All right, this update is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. San Diego State takes on number 3 ranked Gonzaga tonight here at Viejas Arena, 6 p.m. pregame, 7 p.m. tip time. You can listen to that right here on San Diego Sports 760. 1 hour from now, we'll find out who wins the Rookie of the Year in the National League. Paul Skeens right now is a slight favorite over Jackson Merrill. And Monday Night Football tonight as the Cowboys take on the Texans, 5:15 kickoff in Dallas. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces. Join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today. That's progressive.com/careers.
It's Jon and Jim.
I'm too early.
No, we do things a little different. Adding an extra hour to warm up that drive home.
You're done when I say you're done.
Gets the snap, looks, steps up, gonna run, 10, 5, Gino, touchdown, Seahawks, holy catfish.
See what had happened at first was.
Now, time for Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 1 of Jon and Jim, extended edition on this Monday outside Viejas Arena. San Diego State, number 3 Gonzaga coming up in 5 hours, Jim, just 5 hours out. San Diego State and Gonzaga, we will get you ready. Our official postgame and pregame coverage, of course, right here on San Diego Sports 760. Ted Leitner, who's just on the midday show, will have the call tonight coming up at 7:05 for San Diego State and Gonzaga. So we're outside Viejas Arena. You may be wondering, Jim, why are we on the air at 2 p.m. here today?
Why are we on the air, John, at 2 p.m. on a Monday?
Okay, so the reason for that is that the special announcement is that Jon and Jim will now be 4 hours in length, beginning right now through eternity, 2 p.m. weekdays, San Diego Sports 760, as opposed to 3 to 6. You can now hear Jon and Jim from 2 to 6 each and every weekday right here on San Diego Sports 760. You can watch us on YouTube. Search for Jon and Jim 760. You can hear us on the free iHeartRadio app. You can hear us on HD Radio 101.5, channel number 2 as well. Jon and Jim has been extended for 1 full hour each and every weekday right here on San Diego Sports 760.
4 hours of sports talk, baby.
We couldn't fit it in.
No, we really couldn't.
The issue was we just couldn't fit it into 3.
No, we said, look, we want to have more time on the radio. We want to have an extra hour. So, like, sure, here you go. So 2 to 6, Monday through Friday, right here on San Diego Sports 760, on YouTube, Jon and Jim 760, iHeartRadio app, search out Jon and Jim, search out San Diego Sports 760 in the iHeartRadio app. We're on Monday through Friday now from 2 to 6 p.m.
Here's what
More
I want to
time
do
for
today.
bracketology.
Bracketology will be at 1:45 as it always is. Here's what I want to do today, because, again, we can't do this show without your support, and basically this show doesn't exist without your support. So because of your support of this show, if you follow us right now on social media, we will follow you back. We're on Twitter at Jon and Jim. JONANDJIM. If you're listening to us right now, if you're watching us right now, if you're not following us on Twitter or Instagram, we're Jon and Jim on both. JONANDJIM. Follow us on either, and we will give you a shout out on air, and we will follow you back. But again, starting today, Jon and Jim can be heard weekdays on San Diego Sports 760 from 2 to 6 p.m., doing what we've done for the last 3 years, which is talking as much San Diego sports as anyone in the city, really as much as anyone. We kind of sold you on that idea, and people have taken to that concept, which is, there's a lot of sports going on, obviously, nationally, but we really have centered the show on talking. Obviously, today we're outside Viejas Arena. We're talking San Diego State basketball. We talk San Diego State football. Of course, we talk primarily San Diego Padres. We talk as much San Diego sports as anyone in the city. And that's going to continue for as long as we're on the air. And the way we stay on the air is through your support. So that was the theory 3 years ago, and that remains the theory here today.
Yeah, nothing's changing.
Just more of us.
More of us, a lot more of us. Show content, not changing. Me and Jon, not changing. Just more of us every single day, an extra hour starting at 2 p.m. KP in the chat says, yay, more time for conference realignment talk.
Yes, we'll get that in.
I kind of disagree with that, but I probably will have to talk more conference realignment now since we have an extra hour content to produce every single day.
What about a longer back page, as Rich McGuire says?
Longer back page, possibly. We'll see how it goes. The time of our segments aren't changing. So how we would do a longer back page would mean I need to do multiple segments of it.
We could go commercial free for all 4 hours.
I bet you
to
would
stretch out.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
And I think this is a very funny
Well,
comment, by the way, from Gus in our YouTube chat. You can find us again on YouTube right now. Search for Jon and Jim 760. Gus says, "Why does iHeart hate its listeners?" Which is very funny.
Some people were like, "Wait, what's going on?" Because I put it on social media today, and people were a little scared. Usually, this just like a behind the curtain thing. When a radio show says
special announcement,
tune in for
we're
it.
out. We're moving to Milwaukee.
It's not something like bad news is coming your way.
Right.
Usually that's not the case when a show or station, puts out like a special announcement reminder or tune into this time for a big show announcement. It's most likely 100% of the time considered to be good news. Some people like Gus might not be the greatest news because now they have an extra hour of listening to us every single day, but we're thankful for our listeners, and we're happy that you guys have followed us and gave iHeart a reason to put us on for an extra hour. So 2 to 6, we're excited. More Jon and Jim. Can't wait.
Shout out to Tech Talk, who has followed us on Twitter. Shout out to Chen Tay for following us. Shout out to Tommy Donovan for following us. Again, we're at Jon and Jim on Twitter and Instagram. If you follow us, we will follow you back. JONANDJIM. If you want to congratulate us, people are doing that right now on the text line, 70470. Start your message with the word team. Again, 70470. Start it with the word team. 913 says congrats to Jon and Jim. 913 says continued excellence in broadcasts. 619 says, is that good? It's good.
It's good.
So again, if you want to text us, you can 70470. You can start it with the word team. We have a good show lined up for you for day one of the extended Jon and Jim from 2 to 6 weekdays. We're going to cover the San Diego State Gonzaga game. As big of a home game as San Diego State has played in a while. They played a lot of home games that have been pretty important actually over the years with all the success they've had. But this is the highest ranked opponent that San Diego State has had at Viejas Arena since Kansas came here in 2015, and they were ranked number 2 in the nation. Gonzaga tonight will come in number 3 overall. We'll talk Gonzaga basketball with Jim Meehan. He covers the beat for the Zags for the Spokesman Review. He'll join us coming up at 2:30. And Bryce Miller's been writing about San Diego State in the UT here today, writing about Miles Heide, in fact. And Bryce Miller will join us coming up at 5 p.m. So Jim Meehan is on the show. Bryce Miller is on the show. We are giving away the Lab Carrot Diamond today. We're making that announcement, Jim,
yes,
right?
we are. Yes, we are.
Do you know when we're going to make that announcement in terms of who the winner is of the Lab Carrot Diamond from our friends at Unicorn Jewelry and Watch Boutique?
The good thing is, Jon, we have an extra hour
to figure that out.
Figure it out. I like in the chat, Kyle says, you should call the first hour of the show the first new hour, the Jim and Jon show. Like
Hate that.
Yeah,
ban him from the channel.
It's a work in progress. It's definitely a work in progress. We'll have to expand ideas and expand segments as far as bits go.
Yeah, if you have ideas,
we would love
let us know.
Yeah, we'd love for our listeners to produce our show. But we will figure that out. Good news is we have plenty of time to announce the winner of the Unicorn Jewelry and Watch Boutique 1.5 carat lab-grown diamond.
We should tell people, though, when we're going to make the announcement.
We will.
Okay, so my guess is, because we have no clue who has won, we'll do it in the 5 o'clock hour here today.
I like that.
The winner of that will be announced in the 5 o'clock hour. By the way, Manny in our chat on YouTube says, Jon, can you do 2 to 3 daily solo? I'll talk to our bosses about that. All right, so tonight, as we get into it, here's what I would say about tonight. You'll hear from Mark Few coming up, longtime head coach at Gonzaga. This is what I would say about tonight. I haven't looked it up, and I don't know if it's even possible to find, because I don't know if San Diego State has ever been a more significant home underdog than they are here tonight. 11.5 points.
It's up to 11 now.
It basically, at ESPN Bet, it's been 11.5 since it opened. So
okay, I saw somewhere it was 9.5.
It's at 11.5. I think it's been at 11.5, but San Diego State's an 11.5 point dog. You say, well, maybe they were an 11.5 point dog the last time Gonzaga was here in 2017. No, they weren't. They were a 6-point underdog. Or maybe they were an 11.5 point underdog on Kansas, number 2 in the country, was here in 2015. No, Kansas was a 6-point favorite. So Aztecs, again, this youthful team, we don't know about Miles Byrd. We'll see if we get an update on him. He's been out with a rolled ankle for the last week plus. We'll see if Byrd plays. I think it's a big part of this tonight for San Diego State. We know that Reese Waters, who led the way last year at the Kennel, is out here tonight. The crowd always plays a large factor at Viejas Arena. Tonight, I feel as if the crowd's going to have to play maybe the largest factor in the history of Viejas Arena. They like to say the crowds are worth maybe 3 points in a college basketball game, but in a great environment like this, it could be worth 4 points or 5 points. Tonight, it's going to have to be worth 5 points or 6 points or 7 points. So bring the energy, bring the noise. San Diego State's going to need it tonight against this Gonzaga team, Jim, that's averaging 100 points per game through 3 games this year.
Yeah, they're going to need a lot of things to go their way tonight, especially if Miles Byrd, I don't think he's going to be 100%, right? He's not going to be 100%. In my opinion, I don't think he'll be 100%. This is no inside knowledge. I do think he's going to go. I'd be kind of surprised if he didn't go. But if he didn't go, it's just going to make things more difficult. They are not going to win tonight in a shootout. It's just not going to happen. They're going to need to muck this game up, make it as dirty, not like be dirty, but you get my point. Make it as dirty and grimy and bad as possible, where just defense is going to have to lead the way tonight. That's easier said than done, but they're not going to win pretty tonight if they're going to win, is what I'm trying to say. Like, it has to be an ugly game. It really does. It has to be an ugly game tonight for them to have a chance, in my opinion.
Yeah, the rock fight. Like, do you want to play this game in the 80s and 90s, or do you want to play this game in the 60s or 70s? You're right. For San Diego State to win, you'd think the final score would be in the 70s, not the 80s or higher. Now, we do have a little bit of developing news from Jeff Goodman, who has just tweeted this within the last 1 minute. Now, he writes Sam Diego State. I think he's referring to San Diego State, unless it's a different team.
I like Sam Diego State.
He says Sam Diego State will make a decision on whether Miles Byrd ankle will play tonight against Gonzaga after shoot-around, but there is optimism that Byrd will try and give it a go, source told at the Field of 68.
Okay.
So that from Jeff Goodman, who covers the sport nationally, and he covers Sam Diego State.
Sam Diego State, where are they ranked?
They're unranked like San Diego State. They also have a player with the same name as Miles Byrd.
Oh, really?
That also suffered an ankle, surprisingly. And they're also playing Gonzaga tonight.
I like that.
So will Sam Diego State have Miles Byrd? According to Jeff Goodman, who again is a national sports college basketball writer, there is optimism that Byrd will try and give it a go, which I think is so significant. Again, even if he's not 100%, Jim, here's a guy that's third year in the program, had the amazing opener against UC San Diego, 20 points, 8 rebounds, 5 steals, 4 blocks, and 3 assists. You're going to need him. You're going to need his size, his athleticism. Even if he's not 100%, it's probably better than being down a player of the caliber of Miles Byrd in such an important game.
It's just his presence out there alone. Like you said, like, it will matter that he's on the court. His size, his length, if the ankle is bothering him, that's going to be tough, obviously, on the defensive end. But still, if he can spot up and shoot and give you a couple threes tonight, I mean, his first game of the year, how many threes did he hit? 4?
Let's go with that.
Okay.
Let's go with that. That sounds really good.
Yeah.
I think he was like 4 of 7 or 3 of 5.
Yeah. It was.
Let's just go with 4.
And he's mentioned, this offseason that he wants to be a 40% three-point shooter this year. So for me, if he's out there tonight, which I kind of have a feeling he's going to be, I know he's probably not going to be 100%, but still having the body of Miles Byrd out there, it helps them in so many different ways.
All right. Are you heading out here tonight? If you are, get here early. Leave yourself an extra 20 minutes, right? Like rush hour. It's a Monday night. You need to get here early. Be loud. This is expected to be hopefully one of the best environments in the history of Viejas Arena. San Diego State, number 3 Gonzaga, the highest ranked opponent to play SDSU here since Kansas, all the way back when they were number 2 in 2015. Jim Meehan covers the Zags for the Spokesman Review. He'll get us ready at 2:30. On the other side, we will hear from Mark Few. He comments on tonight's opponent, San Diego State, also on the environment expected from the show at Viejas Arena. Again, if you missed the announcement, Jon and Jim just got longer from 2 to 6 weekdays on San Diego Sports 760. Give us a follow on Twitter or Instagram. We'll give you a shout out and follow you back as well all day long. Stay with us. Jon and Jim from outside Viejas Arena. All right, Jon and Jim back with you here outside Viejas Arena. San Diego State and Gonzaga coming up at 7 p.m. Pregame coverage officially beginning at 6 p.m. And again, if you give us a follow here today, we'll follow you back on social media. Shout out to Johnny Adair for the follow on Twitter. And shout out to Birdie Brews, Tim Cowley, and Kamason for following us on Instagram right now. You can follow us at Jon and Jim. We will follow you back and give you a shout out on air. That's JONANDJIM. The news is that the show has gotten longer from 3 to 6 to 2 to 6 weekdays on San Diego Sports 760. It's news.
It's news. It's definitely news. More of us daily, live programming from 2 to 6.
Yeah, more live the better. So, I mean, seriously, more live talk radio in San Diego is something that is a good thing, right? Because I think there's such a passion, obviously, for San Diego sports in general, that there should be more local live content. Yeah. So we're happy to be able to provide that beginning right now in the 2 o'clock hour, moving forward weekdays from 2 to 6 on San Diego Sports 760.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, Mark Few, longtime head coach of the Zags. They've played in 2 national championship games. They've been to 9 consecutive Sweet 16s. They have a loaded roster, completely loaded. They're averaging over 100 points per game. They have Ryan Nemhard, who's played in the Elite 8 against San Diego State. They have Graham Ike, who's one of the top centers in the country. They have so much more than that. They've added Khalif Battle, an Arkansas transfer, and Temple transfer. They're just completely loaded. But Mark Few, after they dismantled UMass Lowell on Friday night at home, I think they won by 70 points. It's like 112 to 50. Is
that good?
And UMass Lowell, by the way, is not a bad team. And they completely dismantled them. Mark Few was asked after that game, not about the victory over UMass Lowell, but about San Diego State. And do they look different with all the new faces than they looked a year ago? Take a listen to this.
Going to be a very different San Diego State team coming up, especially if they're missing their 2 guards. What have you seen from them so far this season?
Actually, they look the same to me. I mean, that's the beauty of their program, just a bunch of tough, athletic dudes that kind of get you in a rock fight. The way they play defense, they're going to absolutely pound the glass. They're going to be in those gaps, raking us and making it hard. They're going to be really, really physical. They'll be big around the rim. So our bigs will really have to, be tough enough to get to their moves and get to their shots. And then they're just very opportunistic on the offensive end. Last year they did a good job. That Ledee really ISO'd us and hurt us. This year I think, Bird's been shooting the ball good from 3 and the Davis kids came off. He's been in their program. I think they have a lot of faith in him. So it'll be a tough game in a great environment. So be a good test.
What's he going to say? Yeah, we're going to go in there by 30.
Yeah, they're nothing like they were.
I want one time.
Yeah, can you imagine that?
A head coach to be like, when asked a question about, can you give us your thoughts on so-and-so team, to be like, yeah, we're going to blow them out by 50 points tonight.
Yeah, you're not going to hear that from someone like Mark Few or Brian Dutcher. You'll never hear that from,
because they have too much respect, and they're too respected around the college basketball world to ever do that. 2 of the best coaches in all of college basketball would never do that. I don't care who they're playing.
Well, let me say this. I mean, listen, Mark Few is as great as he's been as head coach. They've been in 2 national championships and 9 consecutive Sweet 16s. He's 2-3 against San Diego State, including a loss last year at home, a building in which they win 95% of the time, the Kennel. They lost by 10, their largest loss there in 11 years. That was a year ago. And here's the other thing. Gonzaga hasn't played on the road this year. And this is your first road test inside this building. With 12,414. It's going to be raucous. Students are here. Last year at the Kennel, there weren't students. It was played in December. This game was supposed to be played without students on campus in December. Gonzaga asked to move the game to November because of a scheduling conflict. So they moved the game into the more raucous environment, which is November, as opposed to December. And as good as Gonzaga has been, and they have been great, and they could be a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, and they could be a favorite to get to a Final Four or national championship, it's still your first road game. And it's still Viejas Arena, and it's still San Diego State. So I think they're expecting, Gonzaga is, to get a really good game. I don't think Mark Few's coming in here thinking, we'll be up 20 at halftime, we'll quiet the crowd, we're going to win this game by 30 points. There's no way that's the expectation from Gonzaga coming into this game, even with all the pieces that they have coming back.
Well, it's on the crowd tonight to make sure it's loud from the jump.
Yeah, make it hard to communicate.
But as soon as the tip, when that happens, then it's on the players to make sure that the crowd
Stays in it.
Yeah, the crowd stays in it, because nobody's going to be cheering or anything if you're down by 20 at half. It's just like the crowd is going to be out of it, and it's going to be very difficult unless you make a run. But from the jump, the crowd has to be ready to go. The show tonight has to be ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
The I Believe chant has to be as loud as you possibly can make it tonight. And then it's up to this team, the Aztecs, to make sure that they keep the crowd engaged and in it, because this Gonzaga team can take a crowd out very quickly. Like, I'm not saying that this Gonzaga team is a juggernaut, but they can put up points in a hurry.
They can.
You have to make sure at the first media timeout at like the 15-minute mark, you're not down 15-3. Like, you got to make sure you're engaged and stay in the game. Halftime, you got to make sure you're in the game, or else second half starts, it's gonna be tough.
I'm trying to find real quickly, Jim, like to your point, like, hey, if they take the crowd out of the game, advantage obviously for Gonzaga. I'm just quickly looking at like the last few years, and I'm just trying to find the last time San Diego State lost a game at home by double figures. And I'm already going back 3 years.
Okay.
To find the last time that San Diego State was at home and lost a game by double figures. And I'm still looking, and I'm going to continue to look to see if that game pops up. I mean, obviously it's happened. There was a Brown game here like 6 or 7 years ago. I think they lost by 10-plus points. But you're going way back. Like, I'm already going back to the pandemic season right now, 2020, 2021. And I'm just trying to find if there's a game where they lost to BYU by 10 in front of no fans in December of 2020. I think it's the last time they lost at home by 10-plus points. Point being, it's tough to do that to San Diego State. Like, it's very rare, first of all, that they're out of a game anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's even more rare that they're, quote-unquote, out of a game at home. And by the way, that game they lost by 10 to BYU, Matt Mitchell went on a personal, I think, 17-0 run or 15-0 run in that game.
I remember that game.
To tie it up, and then BYU went on a run
I think I was at that game. I think
it was in front of no fans. We were watching on TV. It was a day game.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay,
it was a
you're
day
right.
game.
You're right. I remember because I remember that vividly because of the no fans. What game was I at? That they
well, you've been to like no games, so you should be able to remember.
I've been to a bunch. Stop. It might have been during the 2020 30-2 team where they had a big comeback in a game at home. I
may have been.
I think it was one of those games, but anyway.
I'm going to find this, but seriously, so the last time they lost by more than 10, I think, in a game at home was against Brown, December 29th.
Okay.
December 29th, 2018. So it has really been a while. We'll see if San Diego State again can find a way to stay in a game at home here tonight.
By the way, I see people in the chat. Oh, is Jim going to go? Got to go to the game. Jim has a press pass. Dude, I've been up since 2 a.m. West Coast time because I was in Philly. Flew home at 8 a.m. Philly time, got back at 11:40, came straight here to do the show. Unfortunately, I will be watching this from at home.
I got home at 5 a.m. Sunday morning.
Okay.
From Las Vegas.
That's not
part of the job.
That's not Monday morning.
No, but if it was, I'd still be at the game.
Because you're working.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably. All right,
not?
Jim Meehan, Spokesman Review, to talk about the Zags will join us next. Stay with us.
All right, this update is brought to you by Progressive. San Diego State takes on number 3 ranked Gonzaga tonight at Viejas Arena. 6 p.m. pregame, 7 p.m. tip right here on San Diego Sports 760. About a half hour from now, we're going to find out who the Rookie of the Year is in the National League. Paul Skeens is the slight favorite over Jackson Merrill. And tonight, Monday Night Football, Cowboys versus Texans, 5:15 kickoff. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces. Join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today. That's progressive.com/careers.
All right, getting ready for San Diego State and Gonzaga tonight from Viejas Arena on a sunny day in San Diego. Aztecs and Zags in San Diego for the first time since 2017. Gonzaga, number 3 in America. Jim Meehan covers the Zags for the spokesman review. He's been with us before. He's back with us on Jon and Jim. So, Jim, we appreciate you taking a few minutes for us. We've seen what Gonzaga has done to this point. Obviously, it's been very impressive. It feels like one of the deeper teams, though, that Mark Few has had. He's got 8 players right now, averaging 15-plus minutes per game. Is that fair that he's got as much depth as he's had in recent memory?
It is. They go deep in the core rotation, and he's actually tinkered with the starters 2 or 3 times, adjusted playing time just by who's playing them on a given night. So he doesn't have to bench. He has even better depth than that. If most years, the guys who are in the 9, 10, 11 range would probably be in the rotation. But he has so much experience back with 6 of their top 7 scorers, the 4 starters back. They added 2 transfers in Michael Jahi Pepperdine, and then Caleb Battle, a really interesting 6'5" guard that can score it in a hurry. He came from Arkansas. So they're pretty set at 8. And the 9, 10, 11 are going to have to really play well to crack that top 8.
This team's, scoring almost 100 points per game. I said tonight this is going to have to be an ugly game if the Aztecs want to win. Do you envision this team? Are they susceptible to scoring droughts, or is that hard to envision with how many weapons they have at their disposal?
Well, I don't think anybody's immune to that. As good as they are offensively. Now, they did put 101 on Baylor, which I think left a lot of people shaking their head. I'm not sure if that's ever happened to Baylor in this run we've had under Scott Drew here the last decade or so. But, yeah, they are pretty good on the offensive end. There's no disguising it. They got size, 4 bigs. All of them are different. I think that helps. So they have a little flexibility there. They've got guys who cover 2 through 4, guys who are great rebounders, guys who are more scoring oriented, and then they've got 4 guards. I've played a ton of games, probably 3 of them, well over 100 games, and a kid from Southern California, Dusty Stromer, who started 16, 17 games last year, can really shoot it. So they have not had many scoring droughts yet. I think this tonight will be the toughest challenge they have. I know San Diego State's a little beat up with 2 of their main guys, but it doesn't matter. The players and the coaches all talked about San Diego State's defense, hard-nosed, rebounding. Doesn't matter who's out there. They know they're going to get that, and that'll be a significant challenge for them tonight.
Jim Meehan is with us right now. He covers the Zags for the Spokesman Review in Washington State. So is this a game you think Gonzaga has circled, considering what happened last year at the Kennel, which was an Aztec 10-point win? Reese Waters not available tonight, kind of went off in that game. Gonzaga was a little bit susceptible to not making the NCAA tournament until they went on that late run in February and March, and one of the reasons why they didn't pick up that marquee non-conference win against a program like San Diego State. So do they have the long memory heading into this one, Gonzaga?
I think so. If I was a player for him, I would. I know San Diego State kind of pushed him around last year. The size, I think they had Jaden Ledee last year, a very good player. And those 2 guys, Bird and Waters, those are tough matchups for Gonzaga. They're in that 6'6", 6'7" range, and they can bounce it, and they can score it on a putback or hit a 3. So yeah, they did not feel good about that game. I think it was a 10-point spread. They don't lose very often at home, much like the Aztecs in Viejas Arena. So they probably have so many guys back who have history with San Diego State, not only last year, but Graham Ike played against them, I think, 4 or 5 times when he was at Wyoming before he transferred. And then Ryan Nemhard, the point guard, was at Creighton, and I think they played twice, like back-to-back years in the NCAA tournament. So,
right.
Yeah, this is especially being on the road, that true road environment. They know it's going to be bonkers in there tonight. So I would think they'd be fully amped up for this one.
Jim, this is going to be a preview of what we're going to see yearly in the next couple of years here with San Diego State and Gonzaga now going to be in the Pac-12 together. What's your general thoughts on Gonzaga moving to the Pac-12, and what do you think of this basketball conference in general, and that's going to be happening in a couple of years?
Yeah, I think when they signed on the dotted line, so to speak, that a lot of their fan base was kind of re-energized. They've been in the WCC so long, and they've had a great run in the conference. The conference was very good to them. They did all the things they've done nationally for 25 years in that conference. Gotten to 2 title games, played in every NCAA tournament under Mark Few. But I think the quality of this new conference with what they have right now, and I think they've got to add another piece or 2 as well. And San Diego State. I mean, let's face it, Gonzaga and San Diego State have been kind of the best in the West, along with Arizona, maybe UCLA at times, and then Oregon would be in there. But nobody's got better home environments than those 2 teams. Nobody's been more successful the last 10, 12 years. I think that game alone is very appealing to Gonzaga season ticket holders, because it's hard to get people to come to the Kennel. And the conference is more of a top heavy in the WCC with St. Mary's and USF, Santa Clara. The bottom half wasn't quite as strong. I don't see that in the new Pac-12 alignment in a couple of years. I think top to bottom won't be as much of a drop off, better competition. So I think the fans have embraced it. I think San Diego State's one of the reasons. I mean, that is St. Mary's to what Gonzaga is now in the WCC, but probably more successful than what the Gales have been. So that should be a good one for years to come.
Jim Meehan is with us right now from the Spokesman Review against San Diego State and Gonzaga tonight at Viejas Arena. Jim, do you have an opinion, or do Zag fans have strong opinions on Pac-12 expansion? Because they're thinking about it from a basketball perspective, where the league is still thinking about rounding out its football roster as well. But do Zag fans want to see St. Mary's as a basketball member, or what would they prefer from this point forward?
Well, I think St. Mary's would be a very good addition. I don't know if comparatively their arena, their resources and all those things would be level with Gonzaga, the schools in there, San Diego State, the Mountain West schools, and Wazoo and Oregon State. So I don't know if that was going to happen. I would have thought maybe it would have happened, but it wouldn't surprise me if they were talking to St. Mary's. Excellent team, excellent tradition now with Randy Bennett the last 20 years. The football part of it, I don't know. If they're going to have another football school, which I think they have to add, you sure hope it has some basketball pedigree, because you've got 7, 8 right now that are pretty good in basketball. Wazoo's had a nice little run here the last couple of years. It looks like Oregon State, pretty good. Went to an Elite 8 not too long ago. It'd be nice if it had a basketball program with some history. That would be a quality top to bottom league. And I think that's what the Zags are looking for. And I think that's probably what San Diego State's hoping for and the rest of the conference. So hopefully that's a consideration when they do add somebody.
Right. So translation, Memphis is what Zag fans might be looking for.
That's not a bad thought. Right there.
No doubt about it. That'd be good in football and basketball, obviously, for a league like the Pac-12. Jim, we appreciate the time. We're looking forward to tonight here in San Diego, the Aztecs and the Zags at 7 p.m. And thanks for taking time for us here on San Diego Sports 760.
You bet. Thank you, guys.
All right. Great stuff. Jim Meehan, who covers the Zags for the Spokesman Review. Again, John and Jim, if you missed the news, if you're wondering why you're hearing our voices right now in the 2 o'clock hour, we have been extended from 2 to 6 now.
I'm very extended.
We have been extended, extra hour.
We are
from 3 to 2.
More work, the better
from 3 to 2.
More of us, the better.
2 to 6, San Diego Sports 760. If you follow us on social media today, we will follow you back at Jon and Jim, JONANDJIM. I'll also give you a shout out on air on Twitter and Instagram. All right, on the other side, we were in Vegas this weekend for it. People were watching all over the world. Was it fixed or not? The latest on that on the other side. Again, we're here until 6 outside Viejas Arena, getting you ready for the Aztecs and the Zags, the number 3 team in the land. This is Jon and Jim. So why did it sound like Jim was dying during that new feature, the Jim Russell 2-minute drill, which sounded like it was
Brought to you by
recorded,
Humboldt Casino.
which sounded like it was recorded in like a prison with your nose being like closed.
So
It sounded like this, like, "Hi, I'm Jim Russell.
All right. So here's the backstory.
Tonight's a big game."
So shut up.
Go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs.
Go, San Diego State.
This could be a staple for years to come.
You son of a.
Okay, give us the backstory.
This is gonna be our last day doing a show. Because I'm gonna
on day
kill
one
John.
of weekday,
Yeah.
2 to 6.
You know me and my allergies, and the second I
my
start
gosh.
sneezing, it's over.
Over.
It's over. I even took allergy medicine yesterday, and it was like it just wasn't effective at all.
Allergy medicine has never worked for you. It's always the next day.
Yeah.
You need to sleep and then you're fine.
Yeah. So
It's so weird.
So
You should write like Benadryl a letter and be like, "Hey, what's up? Why don't you work on me?"
I took like the strong stuff yesterday,
right.
and it's windy back east, and it's a little dry, but I mean, it was awful. Thank God it wasn't that bad during the wedding. Like I go to so we went back east for a
Right.
wedding for one of our, for Claire's brother's wedding, and they got married in a beautiful church. And the morning of Saturday, I'm like sneezing. I'm like, oh no, and I don't take any medicine because we couldn't find any medicine in the house. So we go to the wedding, and I'm sitting there in the church thinking to myself, you better not sneeze one time in this church, or Aaron is going to not only murder you, but everybody in the wedding will murder you as well. So I'm sitting there thinking like, please don't sneeze, please don't sneeze, please don't sneeze. Like that's all I'm thinking about. Luckily, I'm fine on Saturday, but Sunday comes and I'm a mess. Like the entire day, I probably sneezed like over 100 times. And I'm like, oh, I have to do the 2-minute drill because today I'm going to be traveling. I'm not going to get back in time. So I need something that I need to record. So I, recorded in the bedroom with my nose plugged, and it sounded like
It sounded like that.
It sounded like that, yeah. It sounded like that.
Okay, well, now that here's what we've learned. Jim, I would say you could never move, but then again, you suffer from allergies here, and you're like, oh, the weather here is so awful, and then you're like, the weather there is windy.
It's like I have to just get out of my system, and then after I'm fine.
Yeah,
and
a day later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should just put you in a bubble like that Travolta movie.
Yeah, Bubble Boy.
Bubble Boy.
That was a Jake Gyllenhaal movie. That's an awesome movie too.
We're going to find out.
Fine today, so
you sound great.
welcome.
You sound great.
Yeah.
We're going to find out around 3 p.m. if Jackson Merrill is Rookie of the Year. I don't have a strong feeling about it either way. I really don't. I don't have a strong feeling that he isn't winning it. I also don't have a strong feeling that he is winning it. I think it's going to be close. It's going to be either Paul Skeens or Jackson Merrill. We're going to find out just after 3 p.m. here today.
You know when I got a bad feeling about this was when they announced the finalist for the Cy Young in the National
And Merrill
League.
wasn't on it?
No, you idiot. And Paul Skeens was a finalist. To me, that says I know that they're different voters. Like I don't think that they vote on the same awards. They might.
No, there's multiple. It's you don't vote for all awards if you're a voter. So
you vote for multiple awards.
You may be able to vote for multiple, but you do not vote for all. I know that.
So when I saw that he was a finalist for the Cy Young in the National League, to me, I thought, okay, if people are voting him to be the Cy Young Award winner in the National League, you're going to get a lot of people voting for him for Rookie of the Year. That's just how I viewed it, is that when he was nominated as a finalist for the Cy Young, that to me said bad news for Jackson Merrill. We don't know yet. I don't know. I'm not saying that it's breaking news, Paul Skeens going to win it, but I have a bad feeling about it just because when I saw that, I was like, I don't know. And he's the betting favorite too.
Here's where I would be upset. I'm honestly not going to go crazy on the radio for 3 consecutive hours if he loses a close vote.
Let's do it.
If Paul Skeens happens to get 29 of the 30 first-place votes, I'm going to be like, this was a marketing ploy. Like if Paul Skeens
hype over substance.
If this is going to be about his marketability and his national relevancy over his play, and his play was very good, but so was Jackson Merrill's. I can deal with Merrill losing a close vote because I feel as if this should be close. I think Merrill should win a close vote. We've given you the reasons why. He's been up all year. He was with a better team. To me, that alone, those are the separators. If they are close, I think Merrill and Skeens are close. The difference is who spent the year in the big leagues. Merrill did. Skeens didn't. Not Skeens' fault, but it could be a separator. Who was on the better team? Skeens or Merrill? That's not even close either. It was Jackson Merrill. So I think a close vote should go to Jackson Merrill. Yeah. I'm not convinced, though, the voters agree with what you and I agree with.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to. If Paul Skeens wins it convincingly, that's I'll have the biggest problem. If it's a very close vote, like let's just say there's 30 voters. I don't know if there are 30 voters, but I'll just go with 30 voters. And it shapes out to be like, 17 first place votes for Paul Skeens, 13 first place votes for Jackson Merrill. I'll be disappointed, but I'm not going to like rage as much as if it's like 29-1 in favor of Paul Skeens.
Yeah, no, I agree. I completely agree. I mean, I think that there's no way it's 29-1 because these are baseball voters. So it shouldn't be a 29-1 vote because they have eyes and they can look at stats and they look at advanced numbers.
And one of the thing about Paul Skeens, if he wins it, my take, it's like the award was more about hype than actual substance. Not saying Paul Skeens didn't have a great year, but Jackson Merrill, all the things that we're talking about, he's better than Paul Skeens as far as, what you're looking for in the Rookie of the Year.
Sure.
And so if Paul Skeens wins it, he'll win it because of the hype train more than the substance of what the award should be about.
Again, it's hard for me to say that. I'm not going to be offended by him winning it because his numbers are ridiculous.
I'm not going to be offended either. I'll be upset and disappointed.
6 WAR, 196 ERA. I mean, honestly, here's my guess. I hope I'm wrong. I'm going to put this out there as a reverse jinx. I think Skeens wins it.
I do too.
I just think Skeens wins it. I hope I'm wrong, and we're going to find out in 5 minutes. But I see a 5.9 WAR and a 196 ERA, and that probably is enough to put him over the edge.
Because voters are going to sit there and say, how could we not
He's got a sub-2 ERA.
Paul Skeens is the next big thing.
Yeah.
Jackson Merrill could be a really nice player, but he's nowhere as far as the hype goes for Paul Skeens. And that's where I'm sitting there saying, like, voters are going to be swayed with that instead of actually just, like, sitting down, taking the names away, and looking at all of the numbers.
It's hard when you compare a pitcher to a hitter. It's a little bit like comparing a running back to a quarterback. It's like you can have gaudy running back numbers, Ashton Genty, but you're not Dylan Gabriel. You play different positions. So it's hard to do the comp. Should there be an offensive player? Like, should there be a pitcher of the year that's a rookie and a hitter of the year that's a rookie? Maybe that's another conversation. But it's a tough – honestly, if I was a voter, and again, I'd vote for Merrill because I'm biased, but it's tough because they play different positions.
Yeah, it's a very tough vote for a unbiased just like voter of the award. And that's why you see quarterbacks in the NFL only win MVPs anymore.
Exactly.
Like,
it's been forever since a running back.
And to be honest, there's a lot of other players in this league that probably should have won an MVP over whoever the quarterback was.
Sure.
And that's kind of where you're looking at this Cy Young, or not Cy Young, but the Rookie of the Year vote. You're like, so a guy did put up really good numbers, a 1.9 ERA. He had how many starts? Like 22, 23, 24, 22?
23. But again, that's not –
it's not his
he started
fault.
Every time he was available because he didn't get up until May.
And Jackson Merrill was here from day one, and he was on a winning team. To me, the deciding factor goes to Merrill because he was here from day one. He was a guy who was a huge part of a winning team and got better and better each and every month. And he put up the numbers deserving of a Rookie of the Year.
Last non-quarterback MVP, Adrian Peterson in 2012.
He had to go 2,000 yards rushing, though.
Last non-quarterback Heisman winner, or at least last running back Heisman winner, Derrick Henry, 2015. So it has been a while. All right, we'll have those results on the other side. Will Jackson Merrill be a Rookie of the Year in the National League or not? That's coming up next. Plus, still ahead, we will catch up with our buddy, friend of the show, Bryce Miller, will join us at 5 p.m. We're outside Viejas Arena. We'll tell you the winner as well of that 1.5 carat lab-grown diamond, courtesy of one of our Warrior Foundation Freedom Station sponsors, Unicorn Jewelry and Watch Boutique. We have that for you coming up as well. But hour 2 of a brand new 4-hour Jon and Jim on weekdays. That'll come your way next. Stay with us.
6 p.m. pregame, 7 p.m. tip-off time. You can listen to that right here on San Diego Sports 760. We're moments away from finding out who the National League Rookie of the Year is. Paul Skeens right now is a slight favorite over Jackson Merrill for the award. And tonight, Monday Night Football, Cowboys and Texans, 5:15 kickoff in Dallas. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits in one of the country's top workplaces. Join the growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today. That's progressive.com/careers.
It's Jon and Jim to warm up that drive home.
I graduated in 07.
From high school?
Yeah.
Then in 04, you weren't in 7th grade, dude.
This new math is not working.
I know. I was a freshman.
Ninth grade.
I know. I was a freshman in high school.
No wonder I look at your basketball statures like a double-double guy. You're playing
at one point,
7-year-olds.
At one point, I was the tallest kid in my grade, and then everyone just shot right past me.
Because you were like in 7th grade and you were 17.
Now, time for Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of Jon and Jim. If you are just tuning in, you missed the news of the day here from a programming perspective on San Diego Sports 760. Jon and Jim has been expanded 1 full hour each weekday. We're now on from 2 to 6. I don't know how we're going to do this. We've done it for an hour. It feels like we've been on the air for a decade.
Oh, my gosh.
We are just getting started. We are here from 2 to 6 each and every weekday, which is a lot of days.
It's such a long show.
So today we're outside Viejas Arena, and we appreciate your support. And if you're used to listening to us each and every day at 3 p.m., you can change your listening habit, and you can listen to us every day at 2 p.m. You can find us on San Diego Sports 760. You can find us on YouTube by searching for Jon and Jim 760. You can find us on the iHeartRadio app as well. 1015 Channel 2 for HD radio as well. So we appreciate the support of the channel. The show has been expanded. That is the news of the day from 2 to 6 weekdays here on San Diego Sports 760.
I want to see how we are at like 5:15.
Yeah, 15 minutes longer than we normally go.
Like right now, I'm fine. Like this is in hour 2 of our show, and we're what's the word I'm looking for? We are normally doing this, and we're good to go. But once we hit like 5:20, 5:15,
oh, I know,
5:30, oh boy,
we're gonna be like page 30 of the phone book. Anderson.
What are we talking about now? Yeah, we're fine now. We're prepared for this, but 5:30 comes. Might be a different story.
All right. So mentioned this earlier. If you follow us on social media, we will follow you back today. We're at Jon and Jim on Twitter and Instagram. That is JONANDJIM. We will follow you back. Give you a shout out on air as well. So follow us at Jon and Jim on Twitter or Instagram. If you follow us here today, we will follow you back. Thank you to Shay Wen for just following us right now on Instagram. So follow us at Jon and Jim. We will truly follow you back right now on social media. We're getting you ready for San Diego State and Gonzaga. We also have one eye on social media because we're waiting on the National League Rookie of the Year award to be handed out. Will it be Paul Skeens or will it be Jackson Merrill? We expect that news to drop at some point in the next handful of minutes here. Now, what does it mean for the Padres? It does impact a draft pick in the future. They'll get a compensatory pick, I think, between the first and the second round. I think even if he finishes in second place, they get a pick as well. But it would be a nice feather in the cap for the development in the organization. Like A.J. Preller has not necessarily hung his hat on developing players in his system, and he has been able to develop Jackson Merrill. We'll see if it pays off here this hour or not, and if Jackson Merrill picks up the National League Rookie of the Year or if it's going to be Paul Skeens.
It's an award that you obviously want Jackson to win. Everybody does.
Sure.
I want him to win. You want to win. All of our listeners want him to win. Every Padres fan wants Jackson Merrill to win. Last time the Padres had a Rookie of the Year was Benito. The closest they've gotten was Khalil Green back in the early 2000s. And now this organization finally, after a decade, finally having a draft pick come up through the system and actually hit. You want that for the organization. Paul Skeens was the #1 overall pick in the draft for the Pirates. Jackson Merrill was not. He was a first rounder, but still, as you go on, a lot of these picks after #1, even hell #1, it's all a crapshoot. Especially in baseball, So it just be a nice feather in the cap of the organization to have him be the Rookie of the Year, because he deserves it. Like, he 100% deserves it. Yeah, if Jackson Merrill wins today, are there going to be a pocket of fans that are going to be upset about Paul Skeens not winning it? Absolutely. We'll see some people in the media cry about it, probably. And it's not that if Paul Skeens wins the award. Like, if Paul Skeens wins the award, no one in the media is going to be crying about it except for us in San Diego that Jackson did not win Rookie of the Year. Which, yeah, I mean, I don't like it. It is what it is, because Paul Skeens, like I said, he has the hype train. He has all of the media circus. He's on College Game Day, dating Livy Dunn, right? Like, he has all of that. Started the All-Star game as a pitcher. Jackson doesn't have that, but Jackson does deserve the award, in my opinion, more than Paul Skeens.
Yeah, none of that should matter. And
Right.
honestly, with these baseball writers like Dan Zimborski, who joins us all the time, like, I don't think Dan Zimborski, who works for Fangraphs and spent his career in analytics, is voting based on Livy Dunn. But marketing matters. They say there is no bad publicity, and Paul Skeens had way more publicity this year than Jackson Merrill. And also the East to West conversation, the East Coast bias conversation. You're not seeing Jackson Merrill each and every night if you're voting in New York City or if you're in Philadelphia, where you are seeing Paul Skeens more often. Plus, the Pirates were on national TV a lot with Paul Skeens making starts earlier in the year. So we wait on that. In addition, we're getting you ready for the Aztecs and the Zags tonight at Viejas Arena. Our pregame coverage will begin at 6. We're outside Viejas Arena from now until the game starts at 7:05. Ted Leitner will be on the call. Brent, we had some sound from earlier. Can you find the sound from Mark Few? We talked about him commenting on the Aztecs, but he also spent some time talking about the environment. So if you're coming out here tonight, you need to get here early. You need to make your way into the seating bowl, and you need to be loud, because the crowd absolutely could be a factor tonight for San Diego State. They will need the crowd. This was Mark Few Friday night after they beat UMass Lowell, talking about Viejas.
Speaking of the environment, you get to play in a lot of really cool venues in the non-conference, but is there still a charm to going to another school's campus and playing in front of that?
I wouldn't describe it as charm. It can be, I mean, it's one of the tougher home courts in America. So, I mean, it's much like playing here or anywhere. And I know they have a lot of pride in it. And I know their students, their student section is very active, and it'll be really loud in there. So we'll have to communicate all our coverages on offense and defense. And obviously, with where we are and who we are and where we're ranked, I mean, it'll be a very big game for them, as it is for us.
What was the stat that you had? It's the highest ranked school that's played here since?
Guess. I've only said it 10 times. Brent, you know, right?
I wasn't listening.
Highest ranked school to play here since Kansas in 2015.
That's what it is.
But San Diego State's been ranked 4th a number of times over the last decade, too. They were ranked 4th in 2020. They were ranked 4th with Kawhi Leonard. But in terms of an opponent, it's the highest ranked opponent to come here since Kansas in 2015.
The crowd tonight from the jump has to be electric. I don't have a doubt that it won't be. And then it's up to the players from the tip to make sure to keep the crowd in the game. If the crowd gets out of it early, John, it's just another part of these uphill battles the Aztecs have tonight that's going to be just tough to overcome.
I've been to every home game for 8 consecutive years.
Oh, nice.
I don't recall one time the crowd was out of it.
From the start?
Ever. In any game. I don't recall any game in going to every single one for 8 straight years.
Well,
so let's say the last 100 games. I don't ever recall the crowd being out of a game.
Because like you said earlier in the show,
they're never out of a game.
They just don't get blown out here.
Ever.
They don't get blown out.
So you hope that trend continues. Yeah, there's no doubt that if you fall behind by a ton of points, that's a factor. But you got to hope that the crowd plays a role. Plus, you're a good basketball team that you expect to be good. Yeah, they're young, but you hope you play well enough to stay in it.
What was the score of that 2015-2016 game against Kansas? Do you have that?
Lost by 13.
Okay.
70-57.
Okay.
That was game 2. Remember, San Diego State won at Kansas the year before.
Yes, the Andrew Wiggins and Joel Embiid Kansas team.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was the return of that game, I think, in 2015. And San Diego State was 7-5 at the time.
Okay.
And Kansas was number 2. and Kansas led by 12 at the break and won by 13 overall. So, yeah, there's a good example of a team, they kept San Diego State at distance, basically, in that game. I bet it was a raucous environment. I wasn't there. Some of you listening were. I'm sure the environment was good, even with it being a 13-point game. So I'm not worried about the crowd. What I am worried about is making this as difficult of an environment as Gonzaga is going to play in. Because that's hard, like communicating. Like the crowd absolutely plays a factor. How many times have you heard that? College football, college basketball, NFL, toughest places to play. Like, it's a factor.
Mm-hmm.
It might not be the only factor. Like, San Diego State's not going to win because of the crowd solely. Crowd's not scoring points. Like, the crowd's not going to shoot threes. Crowd's not blocking shots. But this is a lot different than playing, let's say, Gonzaga playing at USD.
Yeah.
With all due respect, when they play at USD, it's all Gonzaga fans. And it's not that challenging of a environment.
My question is, like, who guards Graham Ike? Like, the matchups,
sure,
right? Like, the Aztecs, as far as, like, size goes, they're a lengthy, long team.
Yep.
But they don't have many big bodies to bang with down low. They don't have a Jaden Ledee. They don't have Nathan Mensah. They don't have an Aguoko Rope type of players that can just go down on the boards and make it just yucky down there and get some tough rebounds. How is that going to play out tonight? Like, they have a lot of length. Magoon Gwath, very lengthy, but he doesn't have that girth and size to, I feel like, bang with guys down low. Pause, Charles Barkley.
Right.
In order to, get those tough rebounds.
Well, you got Jared Coleman-Jones, right? You have Miles Heide, who played in this game last year as well. They faced a lot of Graham Ike, so at least there'll be a game plan. He's a very good player.
Yeah.
Graham Ike against San Diego State's 0-5 in his career. Lost 4 times at Wyoming and lost 1 time at Gonzaga last year. No, I mean, this is like the ultimate test. Early season-wise, this is the ultimate test, and it doesn't get easier with Creighton and Oregon and maybe Houston or Alabama or whoever else you play in Vegas. Like, there's no game you're circling here like this is the game that they should win. I mean, they're going to have to really play well to win any of their next 4 games. That's the reality of it. To win any of their next 4 games, which they're going to need to do to build a resume, none of them are easy. You could argue none of them are even coin flips. I mean, San Diego State's going to be a dog tonight. Their most significant underdog they've been in forever. They'll be a dog in a neutral Florida Creighton. They'll likely be an underdog to Oregon. They could absolutely be an underdog next Saturday against whoever they – I mean, they could be an underdog in 4 consecutive games. Yeah. They have to win one of those games. It's as simple as that.
Yep.
I mean, you'd love to win more than that, but you don't want to go 0-4 in those 4 games, then everything comes down to your conference schedule. Everything.
Yeah. And the worst would be in those 4 games, you don't look good in them. We haven't really seen what this Aztec team is going to and can look like this year. I'm not taking anything from the Occidental game and the UCSD game. That was a little closer than I kind of liked, so we haven't seen what this Aztecs team going to be this year. They're going to have to develop into that. And it's hard to do that when you're not only missing guys, but you're trying to develop and figure out who you are, and you're going up against a pretty daunting schedule here, starting tonight with Gonzaga.
Completely agree. No, it's a real challenge beginning tonight. Can the Aztecs, quote-unquote, steal one of these upcoming 4 games beginning tonight against number 3 Gonzaga? On the other side, hopefully we know the Rookie of the Year. Or
I've not seen anything.
Is this going to play out for 3 hours? Are they going to announce this at 6:01 Pacific tonight?
We know what they're going to do is they're going to interview all 3 of the finalists.
They're
going to break down every single finalist this season.
Are you watching?
That's what they're doing now.
Okay, they're doing that right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have
Jim
it for you.
Yep.
We'll have it for you once it's official who will be Rookie of the Year in the National League, and will it be Jackson Merrill or not? Plus, we have the 2025 Baseball Hall of Fame finalists. Let's just thumbs up, thumbs down, without looking at the numbers. Let's take a look at the 2025 finalists and say, should they be in or should they be out? Plus, Bryce Miller will join us coming up at 5 p.m. We're outside Viejas Arena, San Diego State and Gonzaga tonight at 7. This is Jon and Jim. Stay with us.
This report is sponsored by ChooseChangeCA.org, treatment for opioid or stimulant addiction.
Have you heard about the Good Feet store? A friend who runs a food truck struggled with foot and back pain until she found the Good Feet store. Their personalized art supports brought her real relief, and now she's back in action. Good Feet art supports are clinically proven to provide significant pain relief in only 4 weeks. Don't live with pain. Get back in the picture. Book your free fitting today at goodfeet.com. In an uncontrolled clinical study at day 30, most patients with plantar fasciitis reported a 50% decrease in pain. Check them out at goodfeet.com.
Not all products are available in all 50 states. Compounded products are not FDA approved nor verified for safety, efficacy, or quality. Wegovy and Ozempic are not compounded. Prescription required. Restrictions apply. See website for full details.
Why try Hims for weight loss? If you're interested in personalized prescription options, including Ozempic, Wegovy, oral medications, and compounded GLP-1 injections, and the support to see real results, you might like it. Why try Hims to regrow hair? If a range of treatment options made with clinically proven ingredients like minoxidil and finasteride for thicker, fuller hair in 3 to 6 months sound good, you might like it. Why try Hims for ED? If you've been looking for access to doctor-trusted treatments like Viagra, Cialis, and their more affordable generic counterparts, you and your partner might like it. The Hims process is simple, 100% online, and treatments are shipped free to your door in discreet packaging if prescribed. What's not to like? To save big on weight loss, hair loss, and ED solutions, get started today at hims.com. That's hims.com.
San Diego Sports 760 is celebrating the season with the iHeartRadio Holiday Special. One night to get you in the holiday spirit with exclusive performances by Dan and Shay, Jennifer Hudson, Jimmy Fallon, and Kelly Clarkson, hosted by Mario Lopez. Listen to the show Wednesday, November 27th at 4 p.m. on Holiday Seasons Radio on our free iHeartRadio app. Who would you most look forward to hearing on that, Jim? Would it be Dan and Shay, Jennifer Hudson, Jimmy Fallon, or Kelly Clarkson? Want to put a poll out at Jon and Jim on Twitter?
No, I don't want to put a poll out, John.
Okay.
But I would go with Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon.
Sure.
Is it weird that I'd probably pick Jimmy Fallon too?
Yeah, it is kind of weird actually, because is he even a musician?
Well, he did a lot of
he's
like
not.
Christmas songs on SNL and stuff. So
Okay.
I like Jimmy Fallon.
So Brent is watching MLB Network where they are about to announce. Is that fair to say, Brent? Like how far
close
along
are
are
they?
we in the process? When
sure,
are they going to announce Rookie of the Year?
sure they're about to announce it.
Like today?
That's a very loose about.
Are they doing National League and American League today?
They haven't even gotten to the American League yet.
Okay, so National League is going to be first though?
Yeah, they've
Because
been
they've been talking about the
They've been
National
doing
League.
20 minutes of nonstop National League.
I mean, do we need 25 minutes, or can we just announce the? It's
need-
not MVP.
Well, John, they have an hour or so to cover.
Who's watching?
It's like our show. We have an extra hour to cover now.
Right.
So you got to think of some content to put there
Okay.
to cover that extra hour. So
they're going to play this out over 1 full hour to determine who the winner is.
I would assume. I don't know how long is the show, Brandon. Is it an hour long or is it 2 hours?
Can't be 2 hours.
It's an hour.
Can't
Okay.
be 2 hours.
So
And they have the American League. So
Yeah.
National League's coming in the next 10 minutes.
First half hours National League, second half hours American League, which they should have switched it because American League nobody cares about. There's no rookie in the American League is a bigger name than Paul Skeens or Jackson.
So that should have been the appetizer to the National League
Yeah.
award.
But
They're doing it when they come back from
there.
break, allegedly.
Oh, they're doing it after a break.
Okay.
Here's what I hate. I hate like when you turn on, hey, here are the brackets for the NCAA tournament, but first let's break down the Big Ten title game.
Right.
They get to the brackets
You like
quicker than they get to the Rookie of the Year.
Oh,
they
already
would have gotten to
have-
the bracket 22 minutes in. There's no way they would make you wait 22 minutes.
They have the East and the West region already done.
Yeah, we're 2 brackets in. We're getting to another, founding partner of the NCAA, the Coca-Cola bracket by now.
We're already breaking down the 1 in 16 matchup.
Yes, absolutely.
That's the 8-9 matchup. We're like, oh, where's the Aztecs? So the 5 seed, 5-12. Here we go.
All right, let's do this. Let's see where we disagree. Hear me out.
Okay.
You don't even know the list.
I saw it.
Okay. We're going to do it. I mean, we could do it at the same time, or we could just do it. It's just a yay or a nay, not a breakdown of the career. Bobby Abreu, in or out?
Out.
Agreed. Carlos Beltran, in or out?
In.
I'll say out.
Okay.
Mark Burley, in or out?
Out.
Agreed. Carlos Gonzalez, in or out?
Out.
Curtis Granderson, in or out?
Out.
Felix Hernandez, in or out? I say in.
I say close.
Guy was dominant.
I say close because how many songs did he win? 1 or 2?
At least one. Plus, didn't he dominate for a bad team for 10 years?
You won a Cy Young with like 12 or 13 wins?
It's been done before,
Yeah.
like DeGrom.
Okay, fine. I'll say in.
I mean, I haven't looked at the numbers. Torrey Hunter.
In.
Yeah,
How
I
many-
like
how
me
many
some Torrey
gold-
Hunter.
I do. How many gold gloves did he
I
have?
don't know.
Twins? A lot.
That's why we're just doing it based on feel. I could say maybe
I'll
with
say maybe.
time.
I'll say maybe.
Adam Jones, nice player, no. Andrew Jones, yes, right?
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Ian Kinsler, is this a joke?
Torrey Hunter won 9 consecutive Gold Gloves.
Torrey Hunter could be.
Yeah, Torrey Hunter could be.
Russell Martin, no.
No.
Brian McCann, no.
No.
Dustin Pedroia, not long enough career, right?
No.
Andy Pettit,
Eh,
this is a longer
It's the
conversation.
steroid.
right?
Yeah.
Conversation. He should be in, but the
He should be
steroid-
in.
But the steroids are going to keep
Him out. Hanley Ramirez, no.
No.
Manny Ramirez should be in.
Should be in, but steroids.
Fernando Rodney, no.
No.
A-Rod, again, should be, but
be
won't
in,
be.
Won't be.
K-Rod?
He had like a 3-year dominant stretch.
I
there.
know.
How
but
many
it's
saves?
tough.
Did
It's a closer.
I don't have
right?
his numbers in front of me,
Neither do I.
but if he has like 300 plus saves, then I say yes.
He had a MLB record 62 in 2008.
Yeah, but how many total
I don't
saves?
He had, 437.
Yeah, you
And-
can put him in, yeah. Jimmy Rollins?
Close.
Close. Probably on the outside looking in.
Probably.
CC Sabathia, yes, right?
Yeah.
How could he not be?
I would say yes.
Yeah. Ichiro, give me a break,
Oh,
100%.
that's 100%. If Ichiro's not 100%,
That's a joke.
the Baseball Hall of Fame is stupid.
Tulo. Troy Tulowitzki.
Out.
I say out too. Chase Utley, I think, is close like Rollins.
Close.
I think he's
Yeah,
close, but I don't know if he's in. Omar Vizquel, hasn't he been on this thing for forever?
Should be in.
He should be in. Billy Wagner, where do you put Wagner compared to K-Rod?
K-Rod's above Billy Wagner.
Okay, I'm with you on that. David Wright was a good player. That might be a stretch.
Didn't win, I don't think he ever won an MVP.
Right,
never won
good,
a
not great.
championship, Good, not great.
Yeah.
That's going to be a tough one.
I agree with that.
I see him at like the 50%, 60%
Right,
tops.
I agree. Ben Zobrist, no chance.
No.
Mr. Utility?
Sorry, Brent.
So,
Come on, World Series MVP.
For the Cubs to break the curse?
true.
Yeah, Billy Wagner
but
had
no.
422 saves.
Okay, both.
So fewer
yeah.
than K-Rod,
I think
but
if,
a lot.
I think
But
if
only
you're
like
in the
50.
400 save range,
Yeah,
you
maybe.
should probably get in.
Point is, on this list, a few. Not
Ichiro
a lot.
for sure. Like
Ichiro
you're going to get at
definitely.
least
Andrew
one.
Jones,
You're gonna
yes.
get two. Okay, Andrew Jones and Ichiro for sure.
Yep.
100% locks.
From there, I don't think there's a lock on this
Yeah.
list.
You're kind of
Again, I like Felix Hernandez. I haven't looked at the numbers. In my brain, I like Felix Hernandez. Like, he doesn't have any wins, probably. He was on bad
no.
teams.
I think he might have a losing record, to be honest with you.
No. That'd be amazing. I just want to look right now at Felix Hernandez's numbers just because I'm curious. 169 and 136 with a 3.42 career ERA.
How many
25 2,500 strikeouts, 1 Cy Young. He finished runner-up 2 times.
What about
it's probably not enough.
How many All-Stars?
He was an All-Star 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. I think he's on the outside looking
The
in.
way that the voting goes from here on out in baseball is going to determine a lot, because I think baseball voters for the Hall of Fame need to kind of change their criterias for if guys should be Hall of Famers or
Okay,
not.
and give me the classic example being, what's the criteria that needs to change the most for baseball?
Like
wins?
No. I just, in general, like overall numbers, because I don't think you're ever going to get a 300 win pitcher ever again in baseball history. You're never. I mean, like, you look at guys that didn't have long, but they had like really like good careers. And to me, the numbers game, like you said there, Jimmy Rollins and Chase Utley probably should be Hall of Famers. But if they're back in the 90s and they got put up for the vote, they don't even get close to making
Not in the 90s, you're right. But then again, we say it in our head they should be. And then you look at the numbers on Rollins, and he hit 264 with 231 home runs and a 743 OPS and 95 OPS plus. There's no chance in hell.
Well, especially for pitchers.
Right. That's where it gets harder.
That's where it's going to get really difficult.
Yeah.
The only pitchers of this era that could be Hall of Famers in any era are Kershaw, Verlander, and Scherzer.
In any era, yeah.
Oh, breaking news, guys. Paul Skeens won.
Oh, we will react to that
and
on
his
the
hot
other
girlfriend
side.
sitting right next to him.
Jackson Merrill finishes second, presumably, Brent?
I didn't see that. I just looked up and saw
Paul
him.
Skeens has won the 2024 National League Jackie Robinson Rookie of the Year. We react next on Jon and Jim.
The calendar may say November, but it's Nowvember at your Toyota dealer. Because right now, you can get a low 1.99 APR on a new 2024 or 2025 Tundra or Tundra iForce Max Hybrid. Yes, 1.99 financing on a new Tundra. So see your Toyota dealer now. Financing through Toyota Financial Services to well-qualified customers. See dealer for details. Excludes TRD Pro. Must take delivery from 2024 or 2025 new car dealer stock by midnight December 2nd.
It's easy to buy or lease any new Toyota and easy to own one. Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care no-cost maintenance. You're covered for all normal factory scheduled service for 2 years or 25,000 miles, whichever comes first. Performed by certified technicians using genuine Toyota parts. See your dealer for Toyota Care details and exclusions. Valid only in the continental U.S. and Alaska. We make it easy on you. Toyota, let's go places.
All right, this update is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Breaking news in the National League. Paul Skeens has officially won the Rookie of the Year, receiving 23 first-place votes over Jackson Merrill. We'll rage about that coming up here next. Tonight, San Diego State takes on Gonzaga, number 3 ranked in the country. 6 p.m. pregame, 7 p.m. tip time right here at Viejas Arena. You can listen on San Diego Sports 760. And tonight, 5:15, Monday Night Football, as the Cowboys, who the stadium's falling apart, John. Did you see this? The roof is falling apart. So tonight,
there's a big hole in it.
They have to have the roof open for Monday Night Football for Cowboys and Texans, 5:15 kickoff in Dallas. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces. Join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today. It's progressive.com/careers.
All right, Jon and Jim with you outside Viejas Arena. We have a National League Rookie of the Year winner, and it is not Jackson Merrill. We both speculated on that earlier in the show. And by the way, if you're joining us, the show has been expanded from 3 hours to 4 hours every weekday. So Jon and Jim weekdays is now 2 to 6 p.m. on San Diego Sports 760. Again, if you follow us, we will follow you back at Jon and Jim on Twitter and Instagram, JONANDJIM. Neither of us are surprised. The only thing that, quote-unquote, surprises me is that Merrill only had 7 of the 30 first-place votes. I thought it would be closer. I thought it would be something like 17-13 or 16-14, but it was 23-7. There were 2 clear-cut favorites, as Merrill got 7 first-place votes and 23 second-place votes, but in the end, not very close. Paul Skeens is Rookie of the Year. About 77% of the first place votes.
Is there a breakdown anywhere? Like, I can't
by voter. I don't think so.
Like, I want to know who voted for who, and
what, are you gonna write them an email?
No, but I'm gonna fake outrage over who it is.
I don't think they typically do that.
They do. They show who voted for who.
Oh, do that? Okay, then they do typically do it.
Yeah, I know they do, because there's been multiple times in the past where we've seen who votes for who. And I remember back in 2020, Kevin Acee gave a solid to Will Myers and gave Will Myers a 10th place MVP vote.
Right.
Helped him with some incentive bonuses or whatnot.
Right.
I said about an hour and a half ago that I wouldn't be surprised if Paul Skeens won the award, but I would be surprised if it was almost a landslide. 23 of 30 first place votes. That's not close.
No, that's like an electoral college route. Like if you have 23 out of 30 states, you've done pretty well.
That's not close.
Yeah.
And I'm disappointed because I think it should have been closer. If it ended up being a 17-13 as far as first place votes go,
right,
I wouldn't feel as bummed out about it as I am right now. Paul Skeens, to his credit, dude had a freaking amazing season. A 1.9 ERA, 170 strikeouts and 133 innings pitched, a sub-1 whip, 23 starts. He was 11-2. That's very difficult to overcome if you are trying to overtake him in a Rookie of the Year. Hell, Paul Skeens might win the National League Cy Young Award. Think about that.
Yeah. Like you said, he's a finalist for it. Who are the other finalists for the National League?
Ooh, off the top of my head, I don't have it in front of me. Brent, you're going to have to look that one up. Chris Sale. He's going to win it. But
yeah, Chris Sale's going to win it.
Yeah, Chris Sale's going to win it. But Paul Skeens could finish second.
Here's the thing. Let me ask you this. What's more impressive from a sheer statistical perspective? As in, does Merrill have the one number, like a sub-2 ERA or a sub-1 whip? See what I'm saying? Like, sub-2 ERA speaks. Sub-1 whip speaks. What's the thing that Merrill was banking on? He didn't hit 300. He didn't hit 30 home runs. He didn't steal, I don't know how many bases did he steal this year, right? He didn't steal 30. Like, he was really, really, really good in a lot of categories, but he didn't have any category that stuck out as off the charts like Paul Skeens. Sub-2 ERA for a starter is absurd. Sub-1 whip for a starter is absurd. And listen, Merrill's season was really, 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 really good, but he didn't have a 40 home run season.
No.
He didn't hit 333.
No.
So that's the thing. I just don't think he had that outlier stat like Skeens had as a pitcher.
I was looking at Jackson Merrill was there from day one.
Yep.
He played every day. He was also an all-star.
Right.
I think you can consider him, hell, you have to, because he was second team all MLB for center fielders, only behind Aaron Judge. You're not overtaking Aaron Judge, who's going to win the American League MVP this year. So he was the best center fielder in the National League. Paul Skeens is not the best pitcher in the National League. Jackson Merrill
That's
was
a different conversation, though.
Different,
because,
right?
There's
Well,
8
hey,
different positions, and there's only
one. But if we're going to compare pitchers to position players here, like in the Rookie of the Year voting, then I'm going to have to compare it like that as well when I'm looking at the reasons why I would have voted Jackson Merrill to be Rookie of the Year. His numbers, you're right. He didn't put up any like gaudy numbers.
They were very good numbers.
But he also was a 20-year-old who turned 21, who played every day, who was in the middle of a lineup for a team that won 93 games, made the postseason. Paul Skeens was on a team that finished close near to last place.
None of that matters.
I
And
know.
I agree. I think
know.
it should, but Mike Trout has won MVPs for teams that have won 70 games.
know.
So, like, I think that, honestly, I think it's fair that Skeens won it, but I don't think that it should have been such a quote-unquote landslide.
I
Like,
agree.
23-7 to me for first-place votes is a little bit of a landslide. And, other than that, am I going to lose sleep over it? I'll be honest with you, I'm not. And this is what I said heading into the offseason. I'm like, if the big takeaway from the Padres 2024 season is whether Merrill wins Rookie of the Year, I'd much have preferred, and he would have said the same thing, them, make a postseason run, which they kind of did. They won a series, and they, brought the Dodgers to a 5-game series. But at the end of the day, we all want Jackson Merrill to be good in 2025. Like 2024 is over.
2026, and 2027.
So I hope he's good in 2025.
Yeah.
I'd prefer him be better in 2025 than win the Rookie of the Year in 2024. But do I think it does full justice to his season? No. I think he should have had more recognition for what he did from the voters than 7 first-place votes.
Yeah. Like
my guess is it's going to be West-East. I bet everyone east of the Mississippi is going to be Skeens.
I bet you
that's
too.
my guess.
I would bet you're probably right on that one, John. So I'm assuming Brent got every second place vote.
He did.
Okay.
He did. He had 23.
Okay. So he got
no third place votes for
good,
either.
Thank God.
For either.
I think
Skeens
got 7. Yeah, he got.
Skeens had 7 the other way.
Flipped.
Yeah, which is fair.
It's fair in that aspect.
Yeah.
I'm glad that no stupid voter decided to, put Jackson Merrill third or Paul Skeens third or
right.
or give Jackson Churio, the guy that covers him every day.
That could have happened. You're right.
Vote,
You're right.
Just because they wanted to do it.
They said it's only the fifth time the number 1 overall pick has won Rookie of the Year, and it's the first time since Carlos Correa.
Padres have not had a Rookie of the Year winner since 1987. That's the longest drought in baseball. 1987. Again, we've talked about A.J. Preller's inability to draft and develop. Now, he got it right with Merrill. There's no question about it. He got it right with Merrill based on 2024, but he couldn't get him over the top with a Rookie of the Year. So, what's he going to do about it in 2025? If you're Jackson Merrill, I use that as fuel, for my offseason and for my upcoming season. That's what I would do if I was Jackson Merrill. I doubt he's losing much sleep over this either.
I doubt it, because you know what's going to happen here maybe in the next couple of weeks or even in the next year or so. He's going to get a fat contract and make a lot of money. And to me, if you tell me right now, we have this conversation. If you said he loses out on the Rookie of the Year, but he wins an MVP, you're taking that every single day.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. The one thing I would say about Merrill is, does he have the ability to develop into a guy that could be a top 3 MVP guy like a Machado or a Tatis?
I don't know.
Like, now Machado, again, isn't the sheer power guy that Fernando Tatis Jr. is, yet Machado has been a top 3 finisher before an MVP voting. So it doesn't take a 40 home run season. It absolutely takes a 30 home run season, and he's fully capable of that, probably at 24 this year.
Yeah, 90 RBIs.
Yeah, I think he's capable of doing that. Yeah,
290.
I think you have a top 3 MVP year.
He could.
Just talking through it, yeah.
He adds a little more pop.
Yep.
He can get 100 RBIs.
Definitely.
He's going to be put in the middle of that lineup
He
every
can
day
run.
next year.
He can field.
He could win it.
Yeah.
I personally thought he probably should have won a Gold Glove this year for what he did in
Right.
center field.
Right.
I can't remember a time this past season where he looked out of place in center field. Every single game that I watched this year, which was 162, and seeing every single play that Jackson Merrill made in center field, there wasn't one time where I thought, I don't know if this is going to work or not. From day one, from the jump, dude looked like he belonged.
Agreed.
He looked comfortable out there. And every time at the plate, you had confidence in him. So is this the end of the world? No. I know there will be a lot of people out there that will be upset about this, and there'll be people out there that, might have a little bit of fake outrage, but at the same time, just know that this is not the end of Jackson Merrill's career.
This is it.
This is the beginning of Jackson Merrill's career. And what you hope is that he continues to get better and better. And if you're starting off a career finishing second in the Rookie of the Year behind a phenom in Paul Skeens, and you did get 7 first-place votes. It wasn't like it was a shutout 30-0.
Yep.
You did get 7 voters who thought that you should have been Rookie of the Year. You made an all-star team this past season. You were second-team all MLB. You were in the middle of a lineup for a team that won 93 games. You made the postseason. You're not going anywhere. This is only the beginning for Jackson Merrill, and if he continues to get better and better, sky's the limit. And I think Padres fans should look at it from that angle than the angle of, I can't believe he didn't win Rookie of the Year. This is not the end. This is just the beginning.
Yeah, hopefully that's the case. If that is the case, then that's a win for both Merrill and Padres fans. We'll get to Is That Good? The best and worst of the sports weekend. On the other side, Bryce Miller will join us at 5 p.m. We're outside Viejas Arena. It's a spectacular day. San Diego State and number 3 Gonzaga coming up at 7. Our pregame coverage will begin officially at 6 p.m. This is Jon and Jim.
This report is sponsored by the Del Mar Racetrack Bing Crosby season.
Calling all college basketball fans to downtown Las Vegas. Join your team when they travel to Las Vegas this November as Circa Resort and Casino celebrates Hoopsgiving. Circa has discounted rooms all week long for fans from San Diego. When your team isn't on the court, join us at Stadium Swim with temperature-controlled pools and a 143-foot screen showing all the action. Plus, the world's largest sports book, Drinksgiving, and more. To book and find out everything about Hoopsgiving, go to circalasvegas.com/Hoopsgiving.
news trending now on AM 600 Kogo.
I'm Cliff Albert in the Kogo News Center. A U.S. Marine at Camp Pendleton is under arrest. A new Harris poll says Americans turn to radio for news before cable channels and newspapers. And gas prices in San Diego now almost $2 below their record high.
These stories and more on San Diego's News Radio 600 Kogo and Kogo.com. Brought to you by San Diego County Credit Union.
Couple of shout outs here on social media for people following us on both Twitter and Instagram. If you follow us today, we will follow you back. We've got the expanded Jon Jim earlier from 2 to 6. We'd love for you to be a part of it. Raul, thank you for the follow. 20x3, thank you. Nair Thur, thank you. And then over on Instagram, I see Bechtel Natali. Thank you. Adrian, thank you. TL Mac 18, thank you. Again, if you follow us at Jon and Jim, JONANDJIM, we will follow you back. We are reacting to Paul Skeens being named the National League Rookie of the Year. We're here until 6 p.m. outside Viejas Arena. Our pregame coverage will begin then for SDSU and number 3 Gonzaga. We'll get back to Merrill in a moment, but right now, let's get to this.
Is that good?
Wilcox, snapper, Huber, holder, from 29 yards away. Oh, he missed it badly. Kick on the way. Boswell. That's a winner.
The good and bad from the sports weekend.
The Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, we'll get to that more in depth later in the show, drew 65 million viewers on Netflix, even with all of the buffering problems that it had. I don't know if it had the same problems at Circa that you guys watched.
It was perfect. They said bars and restaurants weren't impacted.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, at home, man, that was a little bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Brent, is that good?
By the way, self-reported 65 million. There's no auditor. There's not a Nielsen for it. So self-reported 65 million. That may have been good. The fight was not.
It was awful.
I mean, that was really bad. Lacked anything compelling. Yeah. But what were we expecting?
If you thought it was going to be anything different, then you're a sucker.
Yeah, but kind of we all were, because we all tuned in and wasted 45 minutes of our lives.
We all tuned in for sure, and I think we're all suckers.
Yeah,
because,
you know what I mean.
Because Mike and credit to Mike Tyson, because the reason why you tuned in
is because of Mike Tyson.
Because you thought that one-off Mike Tyson was going to throw a right and clean Jake's clock.
I didn't know here's the thing. Father Time always wins. I didn't know he was going to look like he was 58. Well, he's 58. I didn't know his knees didn't work. His knees don't work. I didn't know he had multiple blood transfusions this summer. He's had multiple blood transfusions this summer. He looked good for about 39 seconds. And beyond that, it was never in doubt. I think the thing was fixed, by the way. It had to be. I mean, there was no chance that Jake Paul was losing, and there was also no chance Jake Paul was going to beat him into oblivion.
I think the part of it that was fixed was during the fight, Jake was like,
He never went after him.
I could end this probably quickly. And he decided
Not
probably
to.
in that fight to go, I'm not going to do that, because he does respect Mike Tyson, because they're actually very good family friends. And this whole thing was about making money for both of them. There was no rivalry there.
But that's not a true legitimate fight.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
And I understand that point. I mean, to knock out Mike Tyson as a 59-year-old in that circumstance is probably a really bad look. But then again, Tyson put himself in that spot. Here's my only question. It's not about him not winning or knocking him out. In an entire 8-round fight, he never put Mike Tyson on the ropes one time. Never once was Mike Tyson defending himself on the ropes in the entire
Didn't
fight.
even try
That doesn't
to.
make any sense.
Yeah, I know.
It doesn't make any sense. All right, my first is that good. The Niners lost. Is that good? What is wrong with this team, Jim?
They suck. Was I right or was I right?
We'll see. I think you were right.
Speaking of those horrific Niners, this year, listen to this stat.
I'm listening.
This year, they have lost now 3 divisional games after leading in the final 2 minutes of regulation in all 3 of those games. That's tied for the most losses by a team since the 1970 merger, and the first time it's happened since the 2001 Panthers. Is that good?
No, it's no good. Are you kidding me?
This team is overhyped this year. They this year suffered a brutal Super Bowl loss hangover. Injuries were a problem, but also they just are an overhyped bunch of frauds.
Losers,
yeah.
I agree. The Cavs are 15-0.
That's crazy.
Is that good?
It is good.
15-0. It's like the third team in NBA history.
The record's 24.
They got it easy. I don't think they're losing.
Well, they play the Celtics, right, tonight?
That's a win.
I mean, if you look at, I'm going to look at their schedule, but I think tonight, Celtics and, no, they don't play tonight. Maybe they play tomorrow night. I know their next opponent is the Celtics. Yeah, tomorrow night, Celtics Cavs in Boston. So if you're looking for like their schedule here, they have Celtics on the road, then they come home against the Pelicans, Raptors, Hawks, then on the road to the Hawks again. That finishes up the November schedule. And then at home versus the Celtics, Wizards, Nuggets. You win all those games, then you, I think, have the record for most consecutive wins to start a season.
And you got an NBA Cup.
The 15
against the Warriors,
16,
probably.
17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Their 25th game, if they win 25 in a row, would be on the road against the Miami Heat.
It's not right because they'd play in Vegas if that happened.
Oh, the group
in that NBA Cup. Because there'd be multiple games in Vegas.
Oh, yeah. So
if they went out,
it doesn't count, right?
One of them does, the second does.
If they make the championship, doesn't count.
Correct.
Yeah. Could you imagine they go and they lose that game,
but it doesn't count,
and
they're still undefeated,
and they're still undefeated, and they go on and win the next game that actually counts? That'd be
I can't
hilarious.
imagine.
Finally, for me, the Chiefs lost yesterday. Thank God. Is that good?
It is good.
All of a sudden, well, that goes right into mine because your and everyone's Chargers are 7-3.
Chargers.
The Chargers have won 5 straight. They took down those mighty Bengals last night, who had a furious comeback to tie it up before the Chargers won it late on a touchdown. The 7-3 Chargers, is that good?
No, it's no good.
No, it's really not. It's not, because the Chargers are positioning themselves definitely to make the postseason.
Look what a competent head coach does.
Yeah.
A competent head coach gets you looking like an actual real football team that doesn't make stupid bonehead mistakes.
Are you calling out
games.
Brandon Staley?
Well, yeah, Brandon Staley was awful. But I'm also calling out Kyle Shanahan for being a bonehead this
Kyle
year.
Shanahan what's his
This
career
year,
winning percentage?
This year. He is a really, really good head coach that's accomplished a lot, going to multiple
Right.
Super Bowls.
He's won a lot. His winning
Four
percentage?
straight NFC title games, having guys like Brock Purdy and Jordan Mason and Juan Jennings become breakouts because of the system that he is in. For me, this year is an awful look for Kyle Shanahan. And
no, you predicted this.
I know.
It was the hangover year. They dealt with the injury to their best player, Christian McCaffrey. They've lost close games, which happens in the NFL.
Yeah. And he is.
They should fire him.
No, they're not going to fire him, but he puts together another bad season like this.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, it's going to be hot seat time. And I love Brock Purdy. But
You're turning.
He's not played well this year. In yesterday's game, I was arguing with my friends about it, who are like have blind loyalty to the guy. If they give him $60 million
per year,
disaster.
They're gonna.
They should give him more.
Disaster.
Yeah, they'll
He
probably
is-
will give him more.
To me, you put him in the $40 million range, you can handle it. You give him more than Dak Prescott or more than Trevor Lawrence, oh my God.
He's definitely
That's a
getting more than
problem.
Lawrence.
Dude,
He shouldn't.
Here's the thing. The franchise should move. They're 5-5.
Well, they kind of did. They're in San Jose.
They're like an hour away.
Yeah, they're not in San Francisco.
All right, we have a developing
Oakland
story
has some
related to
openings.
Jackson Merrill on the other side that we're going to share with you coming up to kick off hour 3 of Jon and Jim. So Jackson Merrill doesn't win National League Rookie of the Year. We thought the Padres were getting a draft pick regardless of that fact. Not so fast, my friends. Not so fast, my friends. So the latest on Jackson Merrill, what does it mean for the San Diego Padres? Plus, we'll kick off hour number 3 with the wrap. Plus, coming up at 5 p.m., Bryce Millers. We get you ready for San Diego State and number 3 Gonzaga. We're outside until 6 p.m. when our pregame coverage begins. Hour 3 of Jon and Jim comes your way next.
If you're a business owner, the holidays are important. But do you know the last thing 75% of your customers hear before holiday shopping? Radio. And since iHeartMedia is the #1 radio company in America, chances are they're listening to us. iHeart reaches 3 times more people than the biggest TV networks and 4 times more than the music streamers where you can advertise. This holiday season, get the results you need. Call 844-844-iHeart. Don't wait. Holiday shopping has already started. That's 844-844-iHeart.
All right, this update is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. The breaking news of the afternoon, Paul Skeens getting 23 first-place votes is the National League Rookie of the Year over Jackson Merrill, who received 7 first-place votes. First placed votes there, John. This is only hour number 3 of the show. San Diego State takes on Gonzaga
Hour
tonight. Dude, I'm all messed up. San Diego State, Gonzaga tonight, Viejas Arena, 6 p.m. pregame, 7 p.m. tip time. You can listen to that right here on San Diego Sports 760. We do have some breaking news in that game that we'll share for you coming up next. And Monday Night Football tonight in Dallas in a stadium that is breaking right now because they have to open the roof because the roof is falling down on the Cowboys. 5:15 kickoff, Cowboys and Texans for Monday Night Football. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces. Join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today. That's what progressive.com. That's progressive.com/careers. Oh my God.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 3 of Jon and Jim. If you missed the news, Jon and Jim is expanding by an hour beginning today.
Right now.
It already began.
Yeah.
We started at 2 p.m. today. We'll start at 2 p.m. every day on San Diego Sports 760. Moving forward, to celebrate that news, we're here for 4 hours.
Celebrate, we're just talking a lot.
From 2 to 6 weekdays. If you follow us today on social media, we'll follow you back. Thank you, Stranimal, for the follow on Instagram. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you
for the follow on Instagram. There's also been a few follows here recently on Jon and Jim, including the Magoon Commander, presumably a San Diego State fan, at Good Zibes with a Z. So thank you, the
Like
Magoon
good vibes,
Commander.
but good Zibes.
Good Zibes. So follow
Okay.
us on either Twitter or Instagram today. We will follow you back, plus give you a shout out on air. We're celebrating the expanded edition of Jon and Jim
By talking about how Paul Skeens won the Rookie of the Year over Jackson Merrill.
Correct. So we're discussing that. Bryce Miller from the UT will join us to get us ready for San Diego State. Number 3, Gonzaga tonight. He'll join us at 5 p.m. to kick off hour 4 of the show. Also, the developing news that you teased along in the update is that Miles Byrd, per John Rothstein, will play tonight. The exact tweet from John Rothstein at CBS Sports is something. What does he say? I don't know, but I'm going to find it. I thought I just retweeted it, but I guess I didn't.
So Miles Bird's going to be active tonight.
He said that Miles Byrd ankle will be available tonight per a school spokesman.
Okay.
Miles Byrd ankle will be available tonight. And then John Rothstein writes this, a major boost for the Aztecs, 10 p.m. Eastern on
I like it.
CBS Sports Network, and of course right here on San Diego Sports 760. So, by the way, so here's the story on Merrill, and we'll get back to Byrd. The story on Merrill is this. We thought the Padres were getting a draft pick regardless. I think you just said they were getting a second-round pick. That's wrong. This is from Dennis Lynn, who I trust more than you. Jackson Merrill is the runner-up for National League Rookie of the Year, which means the Padres will not get an extra draft pick. He'll remain eligible for MLB's Prospect Promotion Incentive Program, say that 3 times, in both 2025 and 2026. A top 3 MVP finish in either year would net the Padres an extra pick. By the way, the Pirates will not get the first-round pick because Skeens was not up early enough to qualify for the extra pick. But the Padres won't get an extra pick either unless he finishes top 3 in MVP voting either of the next 2 years, which, by the way, is not going to be the easiest thing in the world to do.
No, it won't be.
But that's how they would be qualified for the extra pick. So it's a little bit of insult to injury because if he had won it, which a lot of people thought he would, they get a first-round pick. A first-round pick, which is where they took him at the end of the first round. And currently they get nothing with him finishing second. Nothing. Nada.
It's a massive bummer. No doubt about it. It's a massive bummer that he did not win the award. But for some reason, Jon, I'm not like
outraged
about it. And you know me, I get outraged
you do
kind of easily sometimes. I'm not, because to me what's more important is the future of Jackson Merrill than him trying to win this award this year. You know how many times players have won a Rookie of the Year or an MVP and they've fallen off a cliff?
That's a good point.
I would much rather right now, if you give me the red pill or blue pill, red pill, he wins Rookie of the Year 30-0 over Paul Skeens in votes.
Right.
Or the blue pill, he doesn't win Rookie of the Year, but he has the next 8 years he's an all-star, 7 of them, and I would take that over the first option.
I have voters.
Give me the hoop. Give me the people I need to yell at.
From the
even though I just said I'm not going to be
Writers
outraged.
Association. Well, let's just. These are the 7 that voted for Merrill. By the way, 2 of the 30 voters
San Diego
are based in San Diego. 2 of them, Jeff Sanders and John Maffey.
Oh boy,
both voted for Merrill. I speculated everyone would be in the West.
Good
right?
job. Good job. Good job. You know your
Alex
home base.
Pavlovic, NBC Sports Bay Area, Merrill. Dan Connolly, at-large voter in Washington, voted Merrill. So 3 of the 4 so far are West. The other Merrill voters, Hiroyuki Minageshi, who's in LA, voted for Merrill from the JIJI Press, so Japanese Press Association. Andy Martinez, Marquee Sports Network in Chicago, voted for Merrill. And my boy Dan Zimborski. Dan Zimborski Fangraphs, who comes on the show.
We love you, Dan.
12 times a year, and that's probably why you voted for him. Those are your 7. Zimborski, a writer in Chicago, a Japanese writer, 2 in San Diego, 1 in San Francisco, and Dan Connolly in Washington. Everyone else, 23 others, voted for Paul Skeens. Most of those writers, by the way, located in the East.
Now, here's what I don't get.
Okay.
And Talking Friars made a good point. I know
is that possible?
Not really, but he's outraged right now. I get it. He did make a good point. Jackson Merrill did win the Players Association Rookie of the Year, which was voted on by the actual players. If you had to pick, would you rather win like Sportscaster of the Year voted by other sportscasters, or win Sportscaster of the Year voted by like writers or random people that have never been in your position?
Stop twisting. No, I'd rather win the Rookie of the Year because it benefits the organization. There's one Rookie of the Year. There's 11 All-American different outlets, but there's only one AP All-American team.
I know.
All MLB.
So then what's the point?
If you don't finish all MLB, what do you mean? What's the point?
They have like 7 different Rookie of the Years to be voted on.
Promotion. When you have a Sporting News Rookie of the Year, it promotes the Sporting News. When you have the Athletic first-team All-American quarterback, it promotes the Athletic. That's why they do it.
Doesn't make any sense to me then.
It's
so you
promotion.
So right now you have the Associated Press Rookie of the Year. Is that right?
We have for the Rookie of the Year.
No, sorry, Sporting News. Sporting News.
Yeah.
You have the Players
Award. Yeah.
And then you have the Baseball Writers of America Award. That's 3 different awards. Jackson Merrill won 2 of them. Paul Skeens won the one that actually only counts. Right?
Jim, and I agree with you. I see what you're saying, but Jim,
yeah, no, I'm not arguing. I'm just like
the Niners wear a 3rd jersey not because they have to, but because it sells. The point is, the AP comes out with it, or the Athletic comes out with it because people click on it. It's a click-worthy campaign. The only reason why these awards exist, the only reason we have 10 Rookie of the Year awards is because you get clicks on 10 different sites. The only thing that matters is what was voted on today. It's the only thing that matters. Nobody's going to remember Jackson Merrill as the Sporting News Rookie of the Year.
Then why have those?
Because the Sporting News can do whatever they want. It's like saying the Jon Jim Awards, which we do at the end of the year and nobody cares about.
That's true. That's true.
You know what I mean? It's about self-promotion is what it's about. I understand your point. I understand the point from Fadden, and it is nice to be recognized by your peers.
Yeah.
It is.
I think you have your peers vote you as the best at something. I think that means something. I don't think it doesn't mean anything. I think the Sporting News Rookie of the Year means absolutely nothing. I think the Players Association Rookie of the Year voted on by actual players does mean something. And you know how I know it means something? He was at the World Series and received like an award for it.
Right.
That's something. And now the awards banquet that happens probably the end of this month, you know, Paul Skeens will get awarded the Rookie of the Year award, the one that everybody talks about and everybody remembers.
Wait, what? The one that everyone talks about and everyone remembers is from the players?
No. I said Paul
Skeens. Okay, I thought you were saying Merrill.
No. Merrill got an award at the World Series.
Is anyone right?
And Paul Skeens will get this plaque at the banquet whenever they have it either later this month or next month.
Like, would we be caring about Benito Santiago if he won the Reebok NL Rookie of the Year award in '87?
No,
No,
Khalil
nobody
Green
would remember
actually
that.
in 2000 and whatever
Yeah,
won
the
this award.
the Sports Illustrated
Sporting
Rookie of the
News
Year.
Rookie of the Year. I get it. But,
Yeah.
But here's, and I put this out on Twitter. This is Jackson Merrill's rookie season.
Right.
All-star, all MLB second team center fielder, silver slugger, runner-up rookie of the year.
Mm-hmm.
That is a really, really good rookie season.
Correct.
It's arguably, I know Benito won the award, but arguably you could say that's one of the best rookie seasons in Padres franchise history. Having all of those accomplishments in one season as a rookie, as a 21-year-old, that's damn good. And this is just the beginning for him.
Here's my reaction to that, which, guess what? The Padres that's like saying, and I think a lot of people feel this way, although I don't think you do, the Padres are coming off a damn good year. One of their top 4 in the history of the franchise. The Padres are coming off a year in which they won 93 games. No, they won a round in the postseason. They've done it about 6 times in the history of the franchise. So, they're coming off a notable year, but guess what? It's like close doesn't count other than horseshoes and hand grenades. And they came close. They came as close in the NL playoffs. They arguably came closer than Merrill did today, losing the award to Paul Skeens 23 votes to 7 votes.
Well, you know what? No one will give a you-know-what if in the next 3 years the Padres, win a World Series and, I don't know, Jackson Merrill is like the NLCS MVP.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Just got to go do that.
I know. But still, you have to kind of, and it's hard for me to do because I'm not Mr. Perspective guy. I'm Mr. Reactionary in the moment guy.
Right.
But for some reason, I'm just not that right now with Jackson Merrill. I really am not. I'm more of a big picture type of thing with Jackson Merrill. Is it a bummer? Yeah, it totally is. It sucks. You wish he won it because he deserved it. But I'm just looking at bigger picture with Jackson Merrill and that they found a cornerstone piece of their franchise, hopefully, for the next 5 to 10 years. And that's way more important than winning an award, I feel like.
It is. Absolutely. His future and their future is way more important than winning the award. But it would have been nice to win the award.
For sure, of course.
Honestly, I'm less concerned about the award than I am grabbing another top 35 pick, which I think has value based on what Jackson Merrill did. Right. It doesn't always work that way, but I think it has value. We will get to the wrap on the other side, so we'll do that coming up. Plus, the NBA on TNT, is it going away or not? The latest there. We'll get to it this hour. And Bryce Miller from the UT will join us coming up at 5 p.m. We're outside Viejas Arena. We're getting you ready. San Diego State, number 3, Gonzaga at 7:05. Ted Leitner on the call. Official pregame coverage will begin at 6. It's Jon and Jim. All right, hey guys, it is Jon and Jim for our friends at Jamul Casino, and tonight would be a great night to get out to Jamul Casino. Why? Because one lucky winner each week will also be driving home a brand new Mercedes-Benz C-Class every Monday in November. You know what today is, Jim?
It's a Monday in November.
It's a Monday in November. You can earn entries all month long just by playing, and on Tuesdays, you can earn 2 times the entries.
Yeah, not only could you win a Mercedes-Benz C-Class, but tomorrow, John, is the start of their Run Good Road Trip Poker Tournament, November 19th through the 24th at the Rooftop with a $200,000 guaranteed prize pool. It's an event you do not want to miss. You can visit their website for more details or see any Poker Room team member to figure out how to join.
Do you like Thanksgiving? You probably do.
I love Thanksgiving.
You can celebrate Thanksgiving all month long at Burgers and Shakes with our Turkey Day Melt or indulge in the Thanksgiving Calzone Pizzeria. Then November 28th, you can join them at Tony Gwynn's Endless Dining for football and all your favorite Thanksgiving dishes.
Yeah, and speaking of Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, you can watch all the NFL, NBA, and NHL games. Tony Gwynn Sports Pub is a great place to watch any live sporting event. Not to mention the food there is delicious. Get the Slam Diego burger with the truffle fries. You're welcome. Hamul Casino, it's fun above all else.
All right, San Diego State, number 3, Gonzaga coming up. Tip-off at 7:05. Ted Leitner on the call. Pre-game coverage officially beginning at 6 p.m. And pre-game between Fletch.
It's a big one.
Uncle Teddy has it at 7. Your home of the Aztecs, San Diego Sports, 760. I feel like there's a lot going on. You have Jackson Merrill finishing second to Paul Skeens. You have Miles Bird, the word we're receiving at this hour. Again, John Rothstein is reporting it. He covers college basketball nationally for CBS Sports, is that Miles Bird, who rolled an ankle at practice a week ago today, I think, will be available tonight for San Diego State. That's a significant storyline for the Aztecs, who are without Reese Waters. I think actually John Rothstein yesterday, Jim, while you were out east, reported that Reese Waters will undergo further testing this week. He will not be available obviously tonight or next week in Las Vegas, but it sounds like Reese Waters will undergo further testing on his foot at some point this week. Hopefully they can get him back sooner rather than later. It's an all hands on deck tonight. I mean, you're taking on this explosive Gonzaga team. I mean, they truly are one of the elite offenses in the country. You're going to need every single body available to you. And Miles Bird is a lot better than just a quote unquote body available to you. He might be the best player on San Diego State this year.
Yeah, I think when fully healthy, he might be the best player. I mean, Reese Waters, when fully healthy,
might be the best player.
Because he can put up 15 and 20 points a night for you.
Yep.
But like just having Miles Bird out there tonight, his length, being a disruptor on defense, hit some threes, like that is exactly what they need. And I mean, I hate to say it, but you're kind of going to need the exact type of performance Miles Bird had in the opener against Gonzaga tonight.
Like, you can use that, like 28, 5 steals, 4 blocks, 3 assists, 4 threes.
Yeah,
I could use it.
You could use it, and to be in the game and have a chance against Gonzaga, you might need it. I said last week, you're going to need in this game at least two guys that put up like close to 20 points. You're going to need two guys to give you an offensive outburst. You can't look at the box score at the end of the game and have your leading scorer be like, 13 points. You're going to need a guy that can put up 20 tonight, and probably two, honestly, to be in the game, because we know just watching this team for the first couple games, Occidental, I don't take anything from, but their first game of the year, it felt like this is going to be a year, at least for the first half, until hopefully Reese Waters comes back fully healthy. Scoring might be a little bit difficult for this team to start out with.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably too early to know.
It's too early, but
it's too early to know because it's so few games. Like, you're right. Are they the offensive team we saw against Occidental? Maybe not. Are they the team that struggled offensively against UC San Diego? Maybe not, but we'll find out. That'll play out over the course of the next couple of weeks and months, obviously. Here's my public service announcement for people coming out tonight. Leave work early. Why not? Just leave yourself an extra 20 minutes, right? It's a Monday night. You're heading from wherever you're heading from. It's North County or in East County, or you're coming from South County. Give yourself another 20 minutes. Make sure you're in your seats before this game starts, because it's Gonzaga and because they're going to need you for all 40 of the minutes, right? Stay late. Get here early. If you normally leave at 5, leave at 4:45. If you normally leave at 5:30, leave at 5:15, and be loud. Right? Be loud. Get on your feet here tonight. They're going to need the crowd here tonight. I really feel as if the crowd is going to be a factor. As sometimes you think that's stupid, and then you go to a game at Viejas Arena and you understand that the crowd absolutely can factor into the game. And I'm curious to see what Miles Bird looks like. I mean, he hasn't played for a week. He suffered an ankle. He basically hasn't played for a week. He didn't play against Occidental. So I doubt he's 100%. But, again, I'm taking the 60% Miles Bird over not having Miles Bird every single day of the week.
Yeah.
I hope he stays healthy, because they'll need him next week in Las Vegas too. But I'll take 60% of Miles Bird over not having Miles Bird.
Absolutely.
They just have to have him.
You got to have Miles Bird. Brent, do we have the clip from Jeff Goodman?
What did he say?
No.
Okay. Well, we'll hear from him coming up next.
Did you put this in?
I did.
Look at you.
Yeah. He talked about tonight's game and who he's picking in the Aztecs Gonzaga matchup.
Who's he picking?
Well, we're going to have to wait. Stay tuned for that.
I
John.
do like that.
Stay tuned. We got, you know what the best part is about this show now?
We got lots
we have
of
a
time.
lot of freaking time.
Yeah, we don't need to get to it now.
We can wait a segment or two
to
play audio.
Yeah, I do.
We don't
like
need
that.
to get to it right away because
hilarious.
we have no time to do it.
No, we have plenty
of
time.
Plenty of time on this show.
We have plenty of time. You know why Brent didn't know that there was sound? Because you didn't put sound.
I was just going to say that, but I
Like,
wasn't going to
he's
be
not
that
gonna click
person.
on every
Oh,
link.
sorry. Yeah.
But if you put in parentheses sound.
Oh, that's
because
right.
I saw it and I thought it was just Jeff Goodman picking.
Yeah, I
the
thought it was
Aztecs
just like
tonight.
a thing on X of, hey, the Aztecs are going to win.
I'll tell you how he would know to grab it. For example, I put Mark Few comments on tonight.
Right.
Sound.
Got to write. You got to write.
Mark Few on the environment.
Right. Everything.
Sound.
My bad. Sorry.
Maybe in the future.
Maybe in the future.
We're just getting started on the new expanded show.
Yeah.
We're just
we all
have some things to work
We've
through.
only done the show for 4 years, so
No, it's 3 years.
well, coming up on 4 years.
No, we're coming up on our 3rd anniversary, January 10th.
Are we?
That would be like you turned 3 years old. Would you-
Here's the thing. I view it from when like me and you started the wrap-up show in 2000.
Okay. No, not 2000. We haven't done this for 25 years.
Okay. Full disclosure. I'm a
You're
little
like-
tired.
you're tired.
I'm a little tired.
2020.
I'm a little tired. I've been up for a long time. Took a 6-hour flight. Came right here. But anyway, 2020 is when we started. So it's been
5 years.
5 years with me and you doing some type of show. Not
Correct.
the Jon and Jim show, but some type of show.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. We will hear from Jeff Goodman. I'm so curious now. Does he pick Gonzaga? I'm sure
Stay
you put that.
tuned.
Stay tuned. I'm sure
Stay tuned.
If he does pick Gonzaga, I'm sure you'd put it in there, right? Jeff Goodman
Yeah, of course,
says
of course.
Gonzaga.
Yeah.
No, we'll hear
Of
from
course.
Jeff Goodman. coming
Why he
up.
thinks Gonzaga's going
It's
to
a push.
rout the Aztecs tonight.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's great. We'll play that.
Bryce Miller has been writing about tonight's game, and he's going to join us coming up at 5 p.m. We will have a back page. We will have our pregame coverage officially beginning at 6 p.m. We need to find a winner, by the way, for this diamond from Unicorn
5 o'clock,
Jewelry.
we're announcing at 5 o'clock. John.
Well, Bryce Miller's joining us at 5. So
No,
we'll
in the
announce
5 o'clock
it.
hour.
Okay, 5 o'clock hour. 5 o'clock hour. We're going to announce that. Let's say 5:15 we'll have a winner. We'll have a winner coming up for you at 5:15. Up next, I promise, we will get to the wrap. And again, Bryce Miller will join us coming up at 5 p.m. We are outside Viejas Arena. Sun begins to set. San Diego State and number 3 Gonzaga at 7 p.m. Stay with us. It's Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Progressive. Paul Skeens wins the Rookie of the Year award over Jackson Merrill, receiving 23 of 30 first place votes. Moving over to San Diego State, they take on number 3 ranked Gonzaga tonight at Viejas Arena. 6 p.m. is when our pregame coverage starts. 7 p.m. tip time right here on San Diego Sports 760. In about 45 minutes from now, Monday Night Football kicks off in Dallas with the Cowboys taking on the Texans. Looking for a career that you'll love with flexibility, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today. That's progressive.com/careers.
All right, you can always hit us up in the talkback mics. Just open the free iHeart Radio app. Listen to San Diego Sports 760. Tap that little microphone icon next to the play button to leave a 30-second talkback. Someone that used the talkback mic last week is about to win a 1.5 carat diamond from our friends over at Unicorn Jewelry and Watch Boutique. We'll announce that coming up around 5:15 after a conversation with Bryce Miller, who will join us coming up at 5 p.m. All right, we have not yet gotten to this, so let's get to the wrap right now.
It's time for The Wrap, presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
This is totally rhetorical, but should Mike Tyson box again?
No, that was bad.
So bad.
It was
sad, honestly.
It was sad. It was definitely sad. It was more of a spectacle than it was a sporting event. It was like almost like a test run. It felt like for Netflix to
stream the NFL.
To stream the NFL, you needed something, a guinea pig of sorts, before you stream NFL games.
Right.
Because I can tell you right now, we'll talk about it. Like if Netflix has the same issues on Christmas Day that they did with the Jake Paul Mike Tyson
lose
fight,
their minds.
It's a blood. You cannot have that happen. You'd rather have it happen for this than that. So I know it doesn't have anything to do with Mike Tyson should he fight again or should he box again. But yeah, Mike Tyson should not box again. No way. He got his payday. He got $20 million. Go have a great rest of your life.
Yeah, the fact that he left open the possibility of fighting again is utter insanity. And I understand it. Like, yeah, but like at the expense of like what is. It just doesn't make any sense. I get it. He's an adult. He can make his own decisions. But you're 58 years of age. You're fighting someone 31 years younger than you. That's the largest age disparity in the history of professional boxing. It makes no sense for that to happen, even with the different rules, the 2-minute rounds, the heavier gloves at 14 ounces. No, of course he should never, ever box again. Like you said, 20 mil, right off into the sunset with those $20 million.
It doesn't matter if he's willing to do a rematch. The people aren't going to fall for it again. They saw what happened, and they're not going to waste 3 hours of their Saturday or their Friday night again because they know what's going to happen.
No doubt. Next question.
Speaking of Netflix Christmas Day games, are you guys excited for Beyonce to perform at the Christmas Day Ravens-Texans game on Netflix?
This is just another shot to any type of relevancy for the NBA on Christmas Day now. Like, Roger Goodell's like, not only are we going to take Christmas Day, but we're going to make Christmas Day not only all about the NFL, but all about pop culture as well.
We're going to make it like the Super Bowl.
And it's going to be like Super Bowl 2.0, or I guess 1.0, because it's not actually Super Bowl.
Right.
But they're going to treat it as such because it's Netflix. And I think streaming on Netflix is going to be the way of the future for damn near almost everything, with WWE going there, NFL going there now. You have boxing matches. Like, it's going to be the way of the future is to watch live sporting events on Netflix and other streaming platforms. But yeah, dude, Beyonce. Adam Silver's like, really? Beyonce?
Yeah, I mean, these games will do massive numbers for Netflix. Now, again, they have to avoid the streaming buffering issues they experience. I mean, that could really end the possibility of Netflix being a serious player in the sports landscape for like the next 3 to 5 years. But I think someone said, why is the NFL still confident in Netflix on Christmas Day? They have 150 million reasons to be confident. Yep. They're getting paid $150 million for 2 Christmas Day games. So it's big business. It's serious money. The Beyonce thing will bring in a huge audience that wouldn't otherwise be watching. It's not going to do Super Bowl numbers, but it will do massive numbers. And I think people are probably excited for it. Next question.
They may have Beyonce, but they don't have Bronny.
Yeah, that'd be big. Bronny with Beyonce.
Bigger.
Oh, there you go. They should tour together.
Yeah.
Do you guys think the Chargers could still win the AFC West?
They're going to need a lot of help. And they're scheduled, by the way, John. They faced a lot. Like last night, Joe Burrow was amazing. Bengals are just a team that has decided no matter how great Joe Burrow is, they're going to find ways to lose. Their remaining schedule and quarterbacks that they're facing is difficult. Now, 7-3, but you got next week is Lamar Jackson. The following week is Kirk Cousins. Then you face Patrick Mahomes, Baker, Bo Nix. That's tough.
I mean, they just beat Joe Burrow.
They did.
As good as those quarterbacks are right now.
They did, but I don't think they're going to be running the table here.
No. They're not.
I think they'll make the postseason.
Yeah.
And they'll be a scary out because Jim Harbaugh actually pays attention to details, unlike a lot of coaches. Oh, are we not on?
This looks good on YouTube. Just
sorry.
Commercial break.
Oh,
I remember my first 4-hour Jon and Jim show.
You know what? There's a lot happening, all right, John? Sorry. What was I saying? What was the target?
They'll be a tough out
They're
in the
tough out,
postseason
yeah.
because of Jim Harbaugh.
And no, they're not going to win their division. I don't think.
They play the Chiefs one more time?
One more time.
Okay, they're not winning the division. They need to run the table to win the division. They're not going to run the table. Now, are they going to make the postseason? They will. They've got at least a 2-game lead right now in the postseason. It might be 3. It's like 2.5 or 3 games. They're going to make the postseason. They're going to win 10-plus games. They go 3-4 and win 10-plus games and make the postseason. They will not win the AFC West. They're not going to go to Buffalo or Kansas City and win, you wouldn't think. But they've already shown progress in year 1 under Jim Harbaugh, and by year 2 or 3, I hate to say it, but you might be looking out for the Chargers in the AFC. Yeah. Next question.
What's tonight's atmosphere going to be like at a Viejas Arena?
Should be nice.
Should be cool. Not great.
Yeah, it'll be all right. It's okay. You think that you think you should sell a few tickets?
A couple tickets.
Yeah. Just some open sections.
It's sold out. There's not going to be an empty seat in the house.
Should be a great atmosphere.
It's going to be a great atmosphere. It's going to be one of those atmospheres you're like, man, this place is a special place for a basketball game because of a basketball program that's really good. And you know what's cool?
What's that?
This is like a preview of what's to come every single year for this matchup. You know,
2026. Yeah,
like this isn't a one-off where you're not going to see this for a long time. This is a preview of what's to come, and I think that's freaking awesome.
No, that's a great point. I think the atmosphere will be incredible. I mean, there have been some great ones over the years, obviously. I always think back to Kawhi Leonard's jersey retirement against Utah State. San Diego State, I think, was undefeated, 19-0. That was an amazing night. Been great nights. I mean, senior nights and games against rivals and big-time moments in the Mountain West. And Kansas has played here, and Arizona has played here. And, you know, Gonzaga has played here before, including in 2017, a really good game that the Aztecs won 72-70. Jalen McDaniels was really good that night. So I just think it's going to rival a lot of the really good atmospheres. And, yes, to Jim's earlier point, the Aztecs will need to hang around in this game for it to be a great atmosphere for 2+ hours inside Viejas Arena. But you kind of trust in San Diego State. You trust in the building. You trust in Brian Dutcher. I mean, that's a lot of – you're asking a lot. I mean, you're taking on legitimately maybe a team that's going to play in a national championship game in Gonzaga. You might be taking on the eventual national champions for all we know. But I just trust in San Diego State based on everything that we've seen with our eyes over the last 20 years that they're going to be in any game that they play at Viejas Arena. The crowd's going to be a reason as to why. So I'm just going to trust in that fact here tonight, and I hope I'm right.
And they're going to be up for it. They're going to have a game plan, like you said. They're 3-2 against Mark Few's.
Yep, that's
Gonzaga
all under
led
Steve
team.
Fisher, Brian Dutcher. Yep.
Yeah, so it's not like it's a one-sided affair between the schools. Last year, you know, you had a great performance from Reese Waters on the road, and you kind of won that going away. It was a 10-point win, but
led by like 18 at one point.
You watched that second half, and it really wasn't close.
Yep.
I mean, the Aztecs kind of dominated that game. And so you hope tonight that they can translate that defensive game plan into tonight, and they're going to need, like I said, they're going to need at least 2 guys to have big scoring outputs. You just have to.
I agree with that.
Or you're not going to have a chance to win.
Yeah, and you can't allow, like Gonzaga shooting 40% from 3. You got to hold them to 30%. Yeah. Gonzaga runs like gazelles in transition. You got to cut that down. You can't have live ball turnovers. You're going to need someone to get hot. You're going to need someone to hit 4 threes in this game. If it's McKinney or Boyd or Bird, like someone, yes, 1 or 2 players are probably going to need to score something like 20 points in this game. Plus, you're going to have to play it in the 70s, not the 80s, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, you're going to need some breaks. I mean, you'll absolutely need to play really well, and even playing really well doesn't guarantee that San Diego State's going to win this game, but they'll need to play well. They'll be up for it. I know that. Like, if you can't get up for number 3 Gonzaga, they get up for everyone they play. So these next 4 games are wild. Gonzaga, Creighton, Oregon, another game in Vegas that could be against like a top 5 team in Houston or Alabama. So like these next 4 games, if you're a college basketball fan, if you're a San Diego State fan, if you're a San Diegan, if you're a sports fan, like this is great. This is a really cool opportunity for San Diego State.
Yeah.
We'll see if they're ready for it.
And what is like a bummer though about this great run is that they're not healthy.
Right.
I would have
loved
to seen this team during this stretch of games, have a healthy squad.
Yeah.
Because, if they don't do well in this stretch, what's everybody going to say? Well, they weren't healthy, right? And if they do well, then it's a huge surprise. But you're still going to be wondering, like, man, what would this team have looked like fully healthy in this stretch with a healthy Reese Waters, with a fully healthy Miles Bird, your top 2 scorers, your 2 top players on the team. Now you're not going to be able to see that, and it's going to leave people, depending on what happens here, to their imagination on a what if type of scenario for the next week and a half.
I agree with that. Now, injuries are taken into consideration by the selection committee. That is part of the criteria. So they'll know that San Diego State wasn't fully healthy if San Diego State builds a resume good enough to get at-large consideration. But again, 7:05 is the start time tonight. San Diego State, number 3 Gonzaga inside Viejas Arena. We'll talk more about it with Bryce Miller from the Union Tribune. He will join us coming up at 5 p.m. On the other side, we always talk about big trades with A.J. Preller. We saw one of the biggest trades in sports media history this weekend. What was it? We'll explain on the other side. Bryce Miller will join us at 5, and we'll give away that 1.5 carat lab-grown diamond from Unicorn Jewelry and Watch Boutique. We'll do that coming up at 5:15. It's Jon and Jim from outside Viejas Arena. Stay with us. All right, stop letting high-interest debt weigh you down. You can pay it all off in days thanks to Loan Pronto's new Rapid Equity Loan. Listen up, homeowners. Imagine a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity with no appraisals, no paperwork, and no waiting. Loan Pronto's all-new Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven technology to get you approved for cash out in as little as 1 day. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their debt, launched a home improvement project that is now saving over $1,000 a month. Instant approvals, low fixed rates, fast transfers. Get cash to consolidate all your debt and get a fresh start for the new year. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much you qualify for. Imagine this time next week you could be credit card debt-free. Don't wait. Get your cash fast. Call 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. That's 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, NMLS consumeraccess.org. Hi, Bryce Miller from the UT will join us coming up at 5 p.m. in about 13 minutes. He has written about tonight San Diego State again and number 3 Gonzaga at 7:05. Ted Leitner on the call. Our pregame coverage will officially begin coming up at 6 p.m. So again, 5 p.m. Bryce Miller will join us. We'll announce a winner for our giveaway from last week, that Unicorn Jewelry and Watch Boutique 1.5 carat lab-grown diamond. We'll give that away at 5:15. And if you missed the news earlier, Jon and Jim has expanded from 3 hours to 4 hours weekday. We can be heard from 2 to 6 p.m.
Yes, John.
Maybe we could do 2 to 6 a.m. as well.
Why don't we just do?
How many hours are in a day?
24.
How many days are in a week?
7.
So if we just did 24 hours a day for 7 days.
Don't suggest that.
Is that a good idea?
Don't give anybody a back.
It worked for Jerry Lewis.
Ideas. Don't give anybody any ideas
terrible.
on that. So yeah, why don't I got it from 6A to 6P? Jon and Jim.
Yeah.
Local.
And I think some evenings. I think you could do some night overnights too. Maybe 2 nights a week. Overnight.
How about? I'm thinking like maybe close, like 3.
How about 6 to 6? Is in 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. Let's just do that.
This just stay right here.
That's fine.
We'll never leave.
Yeah, I'm not doing the pregame show.
And you're gonna have Jon and Jim all day long.
We've been following our listeners that have been following us today on social media to celebrate this exciting announcement at Jon and Jim, JONANDJIM. You can follow us on Twitter or Instagram. If you do it right now, we will follow you back. Again, at Jon and Jim, JONANDJIM. Follow us. We will follow you back. We can give you a shout out on air as well. All right. There was a kind of big story involving sports media over the weekend. It was a trade between ESPN and TNT. TNT, out of the NBA rights game, will now provide Inside the NBA to ESPN beginning next year. Yes, the iconic Inside the NBA show will be on ESPN. Not with the same schedule, but it will be on ESPN next year. The way they got it was exchanging 13 Big 12 football games and 15 Big 12 basketball games to TNT and Turner, because TNT is looking to fill inventory without the NBA. No cash exchange. It's Inside the NBA for 15 Big 12 basketball games and 13 Big 12 football games. The big winner is ESPN. They have Inside the NBA with Chuck and Kenny and more beginning in 2025.
So the studio team of Ernie Johnson, Kenny the Jet Smith, Charles Barkley, and Shaq will be part of opening week, Christmas Day, ABC games after January 1st, and then playoffs, including the NBA Finals.
But do you catch the big difference in there? That's nowhere near the number of shows they do in the regular season. In the regular season, they do multiple days a week. Before January 1, they're going to do 2 shows.
And you know who loves that?
Them.
Them.
Because they're going to do the NBA Finals, which they've never done. Because Turner's never had the NBA Finals.
I love it.
Which is great. But
I love it.
In the first 3 months of the season, they're not doing anything. They have
That's
opening week
fine.
and they have Christmas Day.
As long as they're still going to be a part of the NBA going forward. And, and yes, are we going to miss potentially some hilarious Inside
Random
the NBA
Tuesday night.
random Tuesday or Thursday night shows where Charles Barkley looks like a fool because they play guess that player.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he
yeah.
can't guess
They'll
that
still do
player.
it,
They'll
but
still do
yeah.
that, but they won't have that many opportunities like they have in the past. But for me, they're at their best when it's playoff time and it's like big time games. Now, you could also say that for when it's like a random Thursday night in November and it's the Lakers and like the Grizzlies, and Charles Barkley is sitting there complaining, why the hell we have the Lakers on the TV? They suck.
Right.
Like, those are also hilarious, funny moments as well. But I am happy that they're going to be a part of the NBA going forward, and especially the NBA Finals, because listening to the ESPN jumbled 7-man booth or 7-man,
They're still going to have that.
I know they are,
but not for the finals, hopefully.
But I want to listen to it.
I just hope that ESPN doesn't screw this up and put Stephen A. Smith on this show.
They're
And I
going
think they'll do
to.
everything they possibly can to force feed him in.
They will.
But I hope Turner avoids it, because guess what? Turner is delivering this show to ESPN from their Atlanta studios. So nothing is changing.
Nothing.
The show will continue to originate from its Turner studios in Atlanta, which means Stephen A. Smith isn't really a part of that process. This is a show where Turner is paying for the talent. They still work for Turner. So I'm hoping that they keep it the way it is, because if it isn't broken, it doesn't need to be fixed. Don't shove Stephen A. Smith down our throats any more than they already do on ESPN. They have time for him. He can do the other NBA shows when this crew isn't working. He can do his NFL takes. He can do all of his shows. I'm sure it works for ESPN. You don't need to mess with a good thing. Don't force Stephen A. Smith into a show that already works.
But they're going to, that. They're going to force feed some. They're going to change maybe some part of it and make it feel like a partnership. Maybe. I hope they don't. I'm with you. I hope that they just take their show and just slap it on their network.
I hope so too. Yeah, I agree.
Because that's what the people want. Don't complicate things. Don't make things harder than they need to be. People just want inside the NBA with those 4 guys on a semi-regular basis, just talking. And you don't need to do anything else. They're going to have bits and stuff like that and whatnot. But the best content comes from the stuff that's not planned with those guys. That's how I view it in radio. Some of the best stuff in radio isn't planned at all.
Yep.
And that's how I view their show. Is their best stuff majority of the time isn't planned.
Well, it doesn't sound like when you watch it that they do a lot of planning. It seems like Shaq just shows up 5 minutes before and Chuck just shows up. It seems like Kenny.
But I like that. I like that type of, because they actually, you can do it because of the relationship.
They're so good. Yeah, exactly.
They're
so good.
They're not sitting there being like, we need to prepare for 5 hours because we never talk outside of this, or we're not friends, or we haven't been doing this for a long time. They've done it for a long time. They know each other. They know what buttons to press. They know what to talk about. And that's the best on the show.
And they don't do a 5-hour show. I mean, they do a 60-minute
Only
show.
us.
Max. Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. All right. Bryce Miller from the Union Tribune will join us on the other side. He's been writing about San Diego State and number 3 Gonzaga tonight inside Viejas at 7:05. Plus, still to come, we will announce a winner for a 1.5-carat lab-grown diamond, courtesy of one of our sponsors, Unicorn Jewelry and Watch Boutique. We will do that coming up at 5:15. We have Jim's back page still to get to. If you missed the news earlier, Jon and Jim is now a 4-hour show from 2 to 6 weekdays. And if you follow us today on Twitter or Instagram, we will follow you back. And thank you, Life's Okay, for the follow on Instagram. We have just given you a follow. And again, if you follow us on Twitter, we'll follow you back as well at Jon and Jim. That's JONANDJIM. Thank you, Sneaky Chi 9000, for the follow as well. All right, hour 4. That's right. It's now a 4-hour show, Jon and Jim. Hour 4. We'll kick it off with Bryce Miller. That's next.
All right, this update is brought to you by the Superstar Car Wash. Paul Skeens was voted the National League Rookie of the Year today, getting 23 of 30 first place votes. Jackson Merrill finishing second in the award voting. I don't even know. San Diego State tonight takes on Gonzaga, 6 p.m. pregame, 7 p.m. tip time. You can listen to that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. Monday Night Football tonight. Dallas and Houston will take on each other. 5:15 kickoff in Dallas. Unbelievable savings at Superstar Car Wash. Lock in unlimited car washes for just $15 a month with their clean plan, available at any of their California locations or online. Visit superstarcarwash.com for details. Terms and conditions apply. Dude, I'm like...
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is the final hour of Jon and Jim. We will have pregame coverage beginning at 6 p.m. San Diego State, number 3 Gonzaga, coming up with Ted Leitner on the call. And Bryce Miller, who is a great columnist for the Union Tribune, has been writing about this game. He's been writing about Miles Heide, the sophomore center and forward for San Diego State. And he's back with us right now on Jon and Jim and San Diego Sports 760. So, Bryce, always appreciate your time. We can get into tonight, but in speaking with Miles and learning more about his journey, what was the primary takeaway? Year 2 for a big man in San Diego State's program after spending a year behind Jaden Ledee last year.
Yeah, I think the potential, for the learning curve, the jump that can take place, it can happen in a more pronounced way for big men. I mean, adjusting to playing at that level in the paint. A lot of them, and Miles Heide was one of these guys. He didn't play against players his size. It was very rare when he was in high school in Washington. He said there was one guy on the other side of the state who was taller than him, and he maybe saw him in the playoffs. But other than that, now you're playing against guys your size, physical guys, guys who are experienced at that level. And so as you look at it, Mark Ziegler, my colleague at the Union Tribune, wrote in this week, one of the things he mentioned that with Reese Waters out of that Gonzaga game and Miles Bird potentially out of that game, the only player who saw the court last year when they won at Gonzaga was Miles Heide. I mean, he wasn't a huge part of that game or that win. Reese Waters was, but it tells you that this team is so young, so inexperienced as a group together, even though there's some transfers, 8 new faces in the program, so many young guys in the rotation. So his potential growth could be big for them if he gained confidence like he did in the UCLA scrimmage. If he could find more moments like that, that would be big for the Aztecs.
So tonight, Bryce, what's the game plan in your opinion? Give me like the perfect storm. What needs to happen for them to beat, a top-ranked team in the nation?
Well, San Diego State is, again, despite all the turnover, despite all the new faces, and even though it's early, but Gonzaga's offensive numbers are going to reflect it being early in the season. San Diego State's one of the very best defensive teams in the country. A couple of games in, scoring defense, I think best in the country, or at least tied for best in the country, somewhere in that range. So allowing maybe 53.5 points a game. Gonzaga on the flip side of that is 4th in the country, scoring like 100.7 a game, which is ridiculous, with 5 and almost 6 players in double figures. So San Diego State's going to have to lean on that defense. And then, as they've done over the years, and we've seen it group after group after group, if you keep yourself in a game with that defense, with the energy you can get at Viejas Arena, and then hit some threes. And if you do that, that combination gives you a chance. But it's a huge uphill climb. This is, now the number 3 team in the country, one of the very best teams in the country.
How significant would it be? I mean, I don't know how unbelievable it would be considering San Diego State wins 90% of the time here. I was doing the quick math earlier during the show. I mean, they haven't lost a game by 10-plus points in this building in forever. We'd have to look exact. I mean, it might be 4 or 5 years since they won a game in this building by 10 points. So what would the significance be if they pull this off tonight?
Well, I think it'd be one of the biggest wins in program history, given all the circumstances involved. I mean, on the flip side, we talked about how young San Diego State is. The Gonzaga returns 4 starters and they gained 2 impact transfers, and people will remember Ryan Nebhart, who played at Creighton, and he, committed one of the most controversial fouls that determined a Final Four berth on Darion Trammell's
That's right.
kind of floater in the lane in that game, a 1-point game that got the Aztecs to the Final Four a couple of seasons ago. And so he's a very experienced guy. They have lots of scorers. They're very balanced, weighed against the inexperience of San Diego State, that Reese Waters, the best player in that game a year ago, is not available. Potentially Miles Byrd not available. All things considered, it'd just be an enormous win, and potentially the biggest win in a ranking sense that I don't know if I can remember one that could have been higher. So for all those reasons, but in a small sample size sense, it would be enormous too because of what's ahead of them. They still got to play number 14 Creighton. They still got to play Oregon, which is receiving votes in the poll. And they're going to get another power conference team in that tournament in Vegas. They don't know who that'll be yet, and that tournament will determine it. But this is a brutal 4-game run. And if you pick this one up, the most difficult potentially in that run, it would just be huge.
Yeah. Speaking of the next 4 games, including tonight, what do you think is something they have to do? Like, is it they have to at least get 1 win, 2 wins? Like, what do you think the next 4 games here to weather this storm? What would you take right now?
In a metric sense, and thinking about the NCAA tournament, which I always appreciate about Brian Dutcher, he will tell you that is the number 1A, and number 2, and number 100 priority with the program is making the NCAA tournament. That's how seasons are remembered. That's where the potential to do the most impactful things happens, as we saw a couple of seasons ago. So 2-2. If they could pull something like that off, that would be a success, I would think. The 2 hardest are going to be the next 2 games, and the hardest of those is going to be tonight.
Yeah. Bryce Miller's with us right now, columnist for the UT. Bryce, as you know, we found out earlier, Jackson Merrill finished his 2nd in National League Rookie of the Year voting to Paul Skeens. What's your reaction to that?
I wasn't completely surprised because the narrative was so loud for Paul Skeens early and for so long, and national outlets talking about the historic things he was doing potentially as a rookie. But my thought has never changed, not just because he's a Padre, but Jackson Merrill impacts your baseball team every day. He impacted a team that got the closest to pushing the Dodgers out of the tournament. He carried that team at times. He hit for power. He was a plus defender. He was a plus runner. All those things that he's doing every day. What did he play? 156, 58 games, something like that. He played all the time, and to impact a team as much as he did, I don't know how that can be valued. I don't know how a pitcher who's on the mound every 5 days can be valued more than that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that they both, easily, obviously, could have won it. Paul Skeens, he deserves it, but to me, it felt like Jackson Merrill deserved it a little more there. Final one for me, Bryce. The offseason right here for the Padres is going to be a very important one because they have to build off of this 93 wins this past year. They can't take a step back, it feels like. Do you feel, I guess, that this ownership group and will allow AJ Preller to go out and make the necessary moves to make sure that, this team stays in contention next year and for multiple years to come with, the prime still of Manny and Bogarts?
Yeah, I think they'll let him make the moves that are necessary within reason. And that asterisk is they showed last season and moving forward have already kind of forecast that they're going to be a little more responsible, if that's even the right word, financially. Last year, there was a very specific reason for doing that. They were resetting the competitive balance tax, luxury tax, penalty threshold. The more you violate that, the more consecutive seasons you violate that, the more expensive it becomes. So resetting that clock and trimming more than $90 million off payroll was very purposeful in that one season. But you've got players who are due raises. You've got arbitration eligible players who are going to make more money. And the cringe of all cringe, I think they're still going to pay one more season of Eric Hosmer over $12 million. But when you look at all those things, without them lifting a finger and trying to make that team better, they're going to spend more money from the jump, just because of all those reasons. So AJ Preller showed he could be creative, getting Dylan Cease and Luis Ariz that early in a season, not just getting those deals to the finish line, but getting them for more of a season than normally would be the case. The Michael King deal coming out of the Juan Soto trade. He's nobody works harder than that guy. No matter what you think about his performance and his time in San Diego, he will outwork almost everyone in that group to try to find, who's kind of a diamond in the rough there. And I think he's going to have to do that type of work. But if they're going to make a spend, they still have to get starting pitching, especially with Joe Musgrove.
Yeah, there's no question about it. The Musgrove thing for 2025 hurts. Of course, they're aware of it, so they can plan for it, but that doesn't really help necessarily with their budgeting for 2025 and beyond. Bryce, will you be here? Are you going to be out here tonight?
Yep, I'm on my way after this call.
I love it. All right,
Awesome.
I'll see you out here, Bryce. We appreciate you taking time for us. Enjoyed the writing on Miles Heide in the UT. For our listeners, if you haven't checked it out, make sure to do so at the Union Tribune's website. And thanks, as always, Bryce, for hopping on.
Thanks, Bryce.
Yep, talk to you later.
All right, great stuff from Bryce Miller, columnist at the UT. Are you ready, Jim?
For some football?
Dun, 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 dun. On the other side, to give away a 1.5 carat lab-grown diamond to one of our listeners on 760.
One of our dear beloved
listeners.
Yes,
okay, on this station. This is courtesy of Unicorn Jewelry and Watch Boutique. Brent's going to have it for us. He's done the random generator for the qualifiers who were on the Talkback mic last week. We're giving away maybe the best prize we've ever given away. It is a 1.5 carat lab-grown diamond. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's really good. So we're going to do that on the other side. So be listening for that. We're also getting you ready for tonight, reacting to Paul Skeens over Jackson Merrill. Should have been Jackson Merrill. Should have been Kimo Ferrari, San Diego.
Kimo Ferrari
talked
is not
to last
happy.
week.
He's going to take it out on Gonzaga tonight.
Aztec basketball player Kimo Ferrari says should have been Jackson Merrill. He's not wrong. Who disagrees? All right, we'll react on the other side. Plus, we're giving away that diamond coming up next. This is Jon and Jim. Stay with us. cool.
I like this.
It's pretty neat.
I like this.
Alden Gonzalez, ESPN, Jim's boy.
Yeah.
Sources. The Dodgers are meeting with Juan Soto tomorrow, as Mark Feinstein first reported. He goes on to say, yes, it would be absurd of them to follow a $1 billion offseason with a $600 million contract, but Shohei Ohtani's first year in LA blew away all their financial projections, and they need an outfielder. They need an outfielder, Jim.
Oh, great.
Well,
I like
if they need
it.
an outfielder, then just get one.
Must be nice.
Hey, Mom, can I get a
Juan
Ferrari?
Soto?
I need a Honda, but how about a Ferrari?
I have this Bugatti over here.
Yeah,
but
that'd be great.
I need another Bugatti and maybe a Ferrari
I
on top
didn't
of that.
realize, Jim, they need an outfielder.
Right.
Well, now that they need it, just do it.
You know what they need to?
He's an outfielder.
You know what they need to?
What?
Pitching.
Roki Sasaki could help.
No, you know who you can help
Who?
better? Corbin Burns.
Blake Snell could
Blake
assist.
Snell.
This is great.
How about this? How about both
All
of them?
them.
Give them all of them.
This is great. I didn't realize they needed a pitcher and an outfielder. If
Oh.
they need them, then just go get Juan Soto.
Mind blown.
Like Alan Gonzalez says, they need an outfielder. I
Oh,
forgot.
must be nice.
Okay, that's
Great.
fine.
Can't wait for that.
That's great.
That's awesome.
I love this division. It's so fun.
It's a fun
So
division.
neat.
It's my favorite thing in the entire world. Seeing the
This is-
Dodgers going out and getting everybody.
This is so neat.
I love it. Hey, go get Juan Soto. Screw it.
Yeah.
Give him $600 million
Right.
for all of it.
And Jackson Merrill, top 2 rookie of the year. It was great.
Yeah, screw us. Yeah, screw us.
Yeah, it'd be fine.
Fine.
Oh my God.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
With the first day of the 4-hour Jon and Jim, we have lost our minds. Everything has happened.
This is-
Merrill finishes second.
Yeah.
Juan Soto's going to the Dodgers.
This is what's going to happen from now on. The 5 p.m. hour of Jon and Jim is going to be
It's going to be insanity.
kind of wonky.
Yeah, because we're going to have been on the air for 3 hours.
It's going to be one of those situations where we're going to say, all right.
It's going to be a whole hour of train
hour
wreck.
limit.
Yeah, our limit's 3 hours.
We're going into uncharted territory now. We are not built up for this. Like, we're like pitchers that have been built up to go deep in games.
Right.
And right now,
We are not built up.
We're not built up.
No,
we're
we're
We are
outside.
not built up. We're outside. We're cold. Juan Soto's going to the Dodgers. Jackson Merrill's losing out Rookie of the Year awards. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
Everything's
I mean,
fine.
again, if you land Juan Soto, I mean, does it help? It could help, but again, it's Juan Soto.
Everything's okay.
Yeah, it'll be fine. You get to see more of him at Petco Park if you land with the Dodgers. That would be pretty neat. Okay.
How do we segue that?
Let's
How do
spin
we
that into
segue that?
Well, let's spin that into giving away a 1.5 carat lab
screw
grown
it.
diamond.
Screw
Okay,
it.
let's do that. So this is courtesy of Unicorn Jewelry and Watch Boutique. Brent, what do you have? Are you going to do a drum roll?
I can do a drum roll.
All right. I think Brent should probably do it.
Okay.
This is a big prize.
I have an actual
We are losing our minds right
We have lost our minds. Brent, take this thing away. We're giving away a 1.5 carat lab grown diamond from Unicorn Jewelry and Watch Boutique to whom?
All right, the winner of the diamond is that's way better than Jim's. Nick Cormier from Poway.
Nick Cormier from
Poway. Congratulations, buddy. I hope you put it to good use. You will have to pick up the diamond. I'm sure our promotion team will reach out to you. But if you're listening,
If not, you might have a problem.
You're gonna have to pick that diamond up from Unicorn.
There
Jewelry
is
Watch
no
Boutique.
diamond.
Yeah.
There was an asterisk
Sucker.
here.
With this whole thing to
This is
to
for
fool you.
this is for a $9 gift card.
Right, exactly. You want a Jersey Mike's gift card? That's what you get instead.
No,
But
1.5
congratulations,
carat
that's awesome.
lab grown diamond, courtesy of Unicorn Jewelry and Watch Boutique. That is an amazing,
Freaking
amazing
awesome. Let's
giveaway.
go.
And that was just for using the talkback mic.
Yeah.
At San Diego Sports 760.
Simple. It's simple. And you can use the talkback mic anytime you want. Like
now,
give us your thoughts on
Juan
Jackson
Soto.
Merrill not winning Rookie of the Year. Give us your thoughts on Juan Soto's imminent signing with the Dodgers here coming up.
Tell us how rigged Jake Paul Tyson was.
Yeah,
right.
Give us because it's the number one thing everybody's talking
everyone's
about.
talking about
No
today.
one's talking about anything else other than the Jake Paul fight on Netflix. You can talk about tonight's Aztecs Gonzaga game. You can talk about whatever you want. You
That's
can tell
right.
me I'm an idiot. You can tell John
Yes.
John he's an idiot.
No, just Jim.
Just me. But yeah, talkback mic, anything you want. Little red microphone. How you doing?
So again, there's a lot going on, but this isn't a surprise. We knew the Dodgers would meet with Juan Soto. You know who there's a big win for is obviously Scott Boras. Now that you have Red Sox, Dodgers, Yankees, Mets, you get the number 6 in front of the contract, right? That's what you're getting. Red Sox, Yankees, Dodgers, Mets. you're getting that $600 million number. That's the win for me. Do I think he ends up with the Dodgers? I don't. Have I been wrong before? Once. So no, I don't think he ends up with the Dodgers, but I think it's a huge win for Juan Soto and Scott Boras to take these meetings and for them to all be this massive market franchises that probably will elicit him a $600 million contract along the way. That's which is crazy because Ohtani got 7 and you're going to get 6. You don't pitch, but it's Juan Soto.
So Dan Patrick, part of San Diego Sports 760 on 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday.
Right.
He had a take that I kind of agreed with.
Right here on San Diego Sports
Right here
760?
on San Diego Sports 760.
Oh,
yeah.
Neat.
Yeah. Big time show. Is that Juan Soto's not worth that much money because he's not a ticket grab. That he is not the Ohtanis. He is not the Aaron Judge. He is not a guy that I'm telling, my friends or a kid or whatever, if I have kids, like, we're going to buy a ticket to see Juan Soto today.
Well, that's funny because I remember his debut here, and it would have rivaled playoff games. I was at the NLCS game 2 against the Phillies. I think the electricity, that was a night game for Juan Soto's debut. I think Juan Soto's debut would have rivaled game 2 of the NLCS.
Now, it all depends on where he goes. Like, he's got to be a part of a contender.
Yeah.
But you can make the argument, too, like, wasn't selling tickets in Washington. And it's a little different in baseball.
It's tough.
It's different in baseball
Yeah.
because Ohtani was in LA with the Angels.
Was
guess what?
Were they selling every game out? Not every
game
game.
out. They weren't.
They sold a
selling
lot
it.
of tickets
They
in
did.
his career with Trout and Ohtani. They sold a lot of
But
tickets.
he wasn't like this all-time draw where they're selling out all, Angels games. Same
Right.
Mike Trout not selling out all Angel games.
Sure.
Your team has to be good. The reason why the debut of Juan Soto here was amazing is because the team was good.
You're right. And the Padres were drawing pre-Juan Soto,
Yeah.
and they'll draw post-Juan Soto. And the Yankees were drawing pre-Juan Soto,
Yeah.
and will draw post-Juan Soto.
It's really hard to be considered a quote-unquote draw in baseball if you're on a bad team. If you're on a bad team, then you're just one singular player is not going to sell out a stadium on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, like if Soto goes to the Rays, they're the Rays.
Yeah.
But if Soto goes to the Yankees, they're the Yankees.
Well, they would sell it every game because they're playing in a stadium with
true, in Tampa.
15,000
Now, honestly,
people.
if you went to the A's, they'd sell it every game too in Sacramento.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, there are some huge franchises in on him. I do think he'll get the $600 million that they're seeking.
Would you, if you were a GM and an owner, would you give him $600 million? I'll tell you what I would do.
I'd probably allocate it elsewhere. If I was going to spend 600, I would use it elsewhere.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, it's just a lot. I think he's a great player. I just think 600 is probably a bridge too far.
My tops for Juan Soto,
$595.
Nothing over 400.
Well, then you're not winning.
I know.
The
So I'm not
sweepstakes.
signing him.
Yeah, no, I agree. I understand it. I do. Listen, he's a very good player.
Yep.
He's beyond that. He's a great player, but
Great
$600
player.
million for one player.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know if it makes sense.
Yeah, Ohtani, it makes sense because as Alden Gonzalez said there, the Dodgers made so much money this season that they didn't even know what to do with
Right.
it.
They did right. But they had to defer 680 of it.
Yeah.
And they need an outfielder.
They do.
I didn't realize that the Dodgers and Soto's available.
Great.
They need starting pitching.
I love it.
And Snell, Burns, and Sasaki are available.
What number is Soto going to wear with the Dodgers? Because he can't wear number 22.
Who knows? I can't answer that. I don't even want to go down that path. All right, we'll hear from Jeff Goodman. Who does he like tonight? San Diego State or Gonzaga? Plus,
We've
an
been teasing this all
amazing, see what we have all day now.
We do.
We have an amazing stat.
So it's time.
I have the answer to this question on the other side. When was the last time San Diego State men's basketball was a double-digit home underdog? It has been a while. We have the date and the opponent, and we'll share it with you next. Stay with us on Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Superstar Car Wash. We'll start tonight with the Aztecs. San Diego State taking on Gonzaga, 6 p.m. pregame, 7 p.m. tip time. Miles Bird, according to sources, is good to go tonight for the Aztecs. And we'll move over to Padres news of the day. Jackson Merrill finished second in Rookie of the Year voting behind Paul Skeens. Unbelievable savings at Superstar Car Wash. Lock in unlimited car washes for just $15 a month with their clean plan, available at any of their California locations or online. Visit superstarcarwash.com for details. Terms and conditions apply.
Jon and Jim with you until 6. We'll have pregame coverage beginning at 6. Myself and Ben Fletcher. 7:05 is the tip-off. San Diego State, number 3 Gonzaga with Uncle Ted Leitner on the call. We'll hear from Jeff Goodman, national college basketball reporter, in a moment. Who does he like, San Diego State or Gonzaga? But I mentioned this. San Diego State has not been a double-digit home underdog since December 7th, 2002. The last time San Diego State was a double-digit home underdog was against, were they number 1 Arizona that night? I think they may have been. Arizona was here December 7th, 2002. They were number 1. The Arizona Wildcats came here, and they beat a 2-2 Aztecs team 89-81 back on December 7th of 2002. It has been a while, like 22 years.
It's a long time, John.
Since San Diego State has been a double-digit underdog. They have not lost a game by 10 or more points at home since 2019. San Diego State, we'll see how it all shakes out coming up in about 90 minutes inside Viejas Arena.
Well, what sounds like good news is good news. It seems like Miles Bird's going to play tonight.
That's very good news.
So that's very good news. We said his presence alone is something that they will need to have a chance against Gonzaga tonight. They're going to need some big scoring outputs from, I say, a couple guys. And if Miles Bird is in there, if he can give you anywhere close to what he did in the opener, that's a good sign. And then defensively, too, he just helps because of his length and his size out there. How many blocks did he have in the opener?
Miles had 3.
Yeah, so he's a guy that can do it all.
No, he had 4.
He had 4, okay.
5 steals, 4 blocks, 3 assists.
Just an incredible stat line in any college game to have that type of night. So Miles Bird in the lineup, it seems like. Not official yet, but people online, and who was it?
John Rothstein
said
he will play.
Yeah, he's a pretty good source. So all good news there. And now, the crowd going to be loud here. I mean, there's a lot of people here.
Yeah,
already.
very early. Yep.
And it's up to this Aztec team to give the crowd something to cheer about and stay engaged all night long.
All right, let's hear from Jeff Goodman, who, again, has covered college basketball for his entire career. And right now I think he works for a publication called Field of 68. They do a lot of online work.
Yeah.
But he was commenting on tonight, the showdown in college basketball. San Diego State, number 3, Gonzaga, a future conference game. Beginning in 2026, the highest-ranked opponent to play here since Kansas in 2015. Let's hear from Jeff Goodman. Who does he like tonight?
All right, I'm going out on a limb here. I'm taking the Aztecs at the Viejas Center. I am. I'm telling you, it is hard to win at the Viejas Center. It is a major home court advantage. Everybody's been on Gonzaga this. You heard him. What did he say earlier? They might be the number 1 team in the country.
Yeah.
They barely beat Arizona State. Yes, they boat race Baylor. I'm telling you, I'm calling it right now. San Diego State wins this game in the upset.
Okay, I like that.
I like that, Jeff. And if he's right, we give him a lot of credit. If he's wrong, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
I don't know why he said this before. I listen to a lot of their stuff because I love college basketball.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, for years, he has called Viejas Arena the Viejas Center. Which, it's not like it's not a shopping center.
No,
it's like, did you go to the Viejas Center or go to Barnes & Noble? No, it's like Viejas Arena. It is one of the, and Mark Few said it. We played it earlier. Mark Few said this is one of the great home court environments in the country, like the Kennel. I mean, if you had 2 hands, which we do, if you had 2
we're a little
hands,
loopy on day 1 of 4 hours.
Viejas is on your top 10 college basketball home court advantages and environments.
Give me
in the West, it's in your top 2.
Mr. College Basketball, give me your top 5.
Ooh, I love that. Okay, Here, I'll give you 5 outside of Viejas.
Yeah, because we know
that I would put on.
Viejas is probably
5
another one, too.
additional.
Yeah.
I would probably include Cameron Indoor.
Yep.
I would probably include Allen Fieldhouse
Yep.
for Kansas.
Yep.
I'd likely include. I mean, I don't know anything about it, but UK. What's the name of their building where Kentucky plays? Rupp. No, Rupp. Just Rupp Arena.
Yeah,
that place.
no big deal.
So I'd include Rupp in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Kennel's probably on the list where Gonzaga plays. They have the highest winning percentage ever in a building.
Yeah.
That's Gonzaga. Obviously, Viejas we've talked about. Who are we missing? McHale Center for Arizona. I don't know. Probably in the top 10. Who are we missing? I don't think Dean Dome with North Carolina. Who are we missing, guys? Who are those dominant? Are we missing one?
Thinking.
Anyone? Anyone? Bueller?
Bueller. If you want to keep it in-house here, like New Mexico, the Pit.
Pitt's a good one. That's like a top 20.
Yeah.
Pitt is a good one. Pitt is definitely a good one.
Yeah. I think
Mackey Arena, Purdue.
Maybe. Potentially. Oh yeah, no, we are.
Yeah. That's
a good list.
It's a good list. I don't think it's like we're missing some egregious plays.
Who am I missing?
I'm just looking. I found a list from Andy Katz.
Okay. Let's hear it.
You want to know his? Okay, hold on. I'll go
Sure.
from 10 down.
Yeah.
Let's see. Number 10, he's got the Pit in New Mexico at 10.
Where's the Viejas Center?
Let's see. Number 9, he's got the McHale Center in Arizona.
Okay, we mentioned that.
8's Breslin Center in Michigan State. 7 is the Palestra at Penn.
Yeah, Penn. I don't know, but
6 is Iowa State Hilton Coliseum. 5 Bud Walton Arena in Arkansas. 4 Pauley Pavilion UCLA. 3 Mackey Arena Purdue.
Come on.
2 Cameron Indoor Duke, and number 1 he has Allen Fieldhouse.
Okay, so he doesn't have the Viejas Center, and he has
the Pit.
Give me a break with UCLA. I watch UCLA games, and they're playing in front of. Thank you. Go Aztecs.
Oh, and he gave a bonus to the Marriott Center
Go
for
Aztecs.
BYU.
Marriott Center is a good one in terms of a tough environment, but give me a break with Pauley Pavilion when they're playing like UC Davis in front of 4,400 people.
Yeah, stop.
Stop, Andy.
Stop.
You're
Andy.
welcome on here anytime.
Yeah, Andy. If you want to come on the show and explain yourself.
Right. Exactly.
Andy Katz.
What were we talking about? There's so much going on. Oh, okay. So we heard from Jeff Goodman. We were talking about some of the great. Anyway, the point is it's hard to win here. It's a long way of saying that. It's very hard to win here.
Correct, Sean.
And I probably should have the notes in front of me, but I don't. But I will at 6 p.m. And on the front page of the notes, it shows that San Diego State wins as often at home as basically anyone in the country. So, it's hard to win here. Hopefully it's hard for Gonzaga to win here tonight. Again, I don't think this is some cakewalk where they beat UMass Lowell by 70 points the other night. They beat Baylor, in Spokane the other day by 40 points. I just don't think that's this on the road. I hope I'm right. And I hope San Diego State, stays in it all 40 minutes and keeps the crowd, to your point, engaged for all 40 minutes. So that's the goal. Coming up again at 7:05, San Diego State and number 3, Gonzaga. Again, Ted Leitner will be on the call. Where do I find these notes, Jim?
On the computer, John.
That's
There's
right.
This thing called the internet.
I have them.
And
I have that.
What happens is on the internet, there's like websites, and you can go to these websites and like get information and stuff.
I like that.
So to get the game notes, you have to go to this website for San Diego State basketball. And then there's a tab there that takes you to another web page.
Neat.
Web pages inside of websites with all of the game notes on it.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at the game notes, and Anyway, it's a tough place to win it. Here, is what I would say.
Yes, it is, but it's also backed up by having really good Aztecs teams. You have a situation tonight, like you've been saying all show, highest ranked opponent to come to the Viejas Center Arena / San Diego State
since Kansas.
Since Kansas in 2015, 2016.
The Viejas Center.
So stupid.
Get it right.
I know. Come on,
no
man.
one calls it like the
Allen Fieldhouse
Coliseum
or
that was like
Cameron Indoor.
God, who was it? Was it Jeff Gordon or somebody called Wrigley Field, Wrigley Stadium once?
Oh, that's the absolute worst. That is the worst. Yeah, like nobody calls it Petco Stadium.
Petco Stadium.
Petco. I honestly, that is one of my pet peeves. Is when you get an arena or stadium name wrong. Now again, if it's like O.Co Arena, I could care less. Like if it's like the Oakland Coliseum, it's been renamed 11 times.
True.
That's not iconic. But like Chase Center, like get it right. You know what I mean? It's only been around for like 5 years, and like it's the home of the war. Yeah, exactly. It sounds weird, right?
The Chase
when
Arena.
You say it the wrong way. Like no one calls Cameron Indoor like the Cameron Center.
Cameron
Anyway,
Outdoor.
My pet peeves. I have a lot of them.
You do. Mostly
involve you.
Involve sports and me.
I have one that I absolutely I can't discuss it on air.
Okay.
Why? We have plenty of time.
Yeah,
I just can't. I can't.
We're nearing the end of our first 4-hour show, John. How do you feel?
I feel older, like a sixth of a day older.
I
know.
So think about this.
Philadelphia this morning.
Think about this. This day for me. All right. West Coast time. Woke up at 2 a.m. Had a flight East Coast time at 8:30.
Right, but you just sat on the plane, right? You weren't a pilot.
No, I did not fly the plane, John.
Okay.
Correct. If I flew the plane,
so you watch like Friends on Netflix.
If I flew the plane, I would not be here right now.
Be dead.
We'd
Yeah.
be dead.
Right.
But 6-hour flight from Philly back to California.
Did you go back to your place?
Went back to my place, took an Uber back to my place, then immediately drove over here.
Perfect.
So I'm trying to think about like what time. So it's 5.
It's 8:40.
It's almost 9 o'clock
Eastern.
for me.
You're gonna survive.
Let's go.
And we've almost made it to the end of day one.
Do you want to do 3 more hours? Oh wait, that's right.
I'm going to. I'm about to do it actually. All right. So if you missed the news earlier, Jon and Jim is now an hour longer every day. Fletch doesn't think it's a big deal. It's like 4-hour show. No biggie. I'm doing that over on 101.5 FM. I'm like, dude, you guys play songs. When's the last song we played over here?
We can't play songs.
Yeah, we
It's
can't
copyright.
anymore.
Yeah, we don't even have the like.
We don't have songs to play.
So it's not that bad. Okay.
I need to know how Fletch lost his voice though.
Vegas.
Is it really?
We're going to find out on the other side with Jim's back page. 6 p.m. Our pregame coverage will begin. Stay with us on Jon and Jim.
Hey guys, it's Jim from Jon and Jim as John has walked away here for Hamul Casino every Monday night. Tonight, Fletch, it's Monday night. You could win a brand new Mercedes-Benz C-Class every Monday night in November. You can earn entries all month long by just playing. And on Tuesdays, you can earn 2 times entries. Also, coming up tomorrow through November 24th is the start of their Run Good Road Trip Poker Tournament at the rooftop with a $200,000 guaranteed prize pool. It's an event you do not want to miss. You can visit their website for more details or see any Poker Room team member for details on how to join. Also, Hamul Casino is a great spot to watch any live sporting event, NFL, NBA, or NHL at Tony Gwynn's Sports Pub. It's a great environment, great food. Highly recommend the Slam Diego Burger with truffle fries. It is delicious. You'll thank me later. Hamul Casino, it's fun above all else. All right, Sean has failed.
Soft.
Final segment of our new 4-hour show, Jon and Jim. Coming up next, Aztecs pregame, Gonzaga, San Diego State, kicking off in a little over an hour from now. We just heard a promo for the brand new Fletch Zone.
Welcome in, maybe the water's warm.
From noon to 2 weekdays, Monday through Friday, right here on San Diego Sports 760. The lineup is this: Dan Patrick, 6 to 9 a.m., Colin Cowherd, 9 to noon. The Fletch Zone, noon to 2, and then Jon and Jim, 2 to 6. I'm joined right now by the host of the Fletch Zone, Ben Fletcher.
Yeah, buddy.
First off, congratulations.
Thanks.
Second off, how did you lose your voice? Was this a rookie move and you went a little too hard in Vegas?
No, I honestly didn't. That was the softest I've ever done Vegas, actually. But like Rich, John, and I watched the Tyson Jake Paul loser fight.
Yeah,
that wasn't really a fight at all in the sports book.
Not a fight. No.
I had like 3 beers then, and then played an hour of blackjack and went to bed. So I think the answer is I need to drink harder and party harder in Vegas, and I won't lose my voice.
Oh, so wait, did you lose your voice yesterday or was it today?
It was fully there yesterday. Maybe I was just screaming at the Niners game, and that could have done it.
Yeah, stupid team.
Yeah, stupid team, and now our quarterback's hurt. We're toast.
Yeah, I'm done. They were toast before yesterday's game. So anyway, the Fletch Zone, brand new, Monday through Friday, noon to 2 p.m. It's not really new, but it's new.
Me and Sammy for an extra hour.
Yeah, they've been on for the last couple months. So Fletch and Sammy from noon to 2 every single Monday through Friday. So pregame coming up at 6. Tip off is at 7. But right now, the Brentons get to it.
I'm super pumped up for this back page because you've had an extra hour to prepare.
That is true. Don't worry. I have plenty of stories for you guys.
Oh, let's get after it.
First off, what was, in your opinion, one of the, not game-wise, but just name of a bowl game last year, in your opinion? What was one of the best bowl game names
Was it
last year?
Rob Gronkowski Bowl?
No,
Pop-Tarts and mayo.
That is it. The Pop-Tart Bowl. The Pop-Tart Bowl had the Pop-Tart mascot.
Who they cooked live on air.
Got cooked live and then eaten by the winning team after the game. Well, that was such a big hit. Now the Pop-Tart Bowl has announced they will have not 1, not 2, but 3 Pop-Tart mascots for next year's, or I guess this year's game. The Frosted Hot Fudge Sundae Pop-Tart.
Oh, talk slower.
The Frosted Wild Berry and Mystery Flavor Pop-Tarts.
I'm out.
They're coming to the Pop-Tart Bowl. Only one mascot, though, will achieve the ultimate pastry's dream of being eaten by the winning team. The game MVP picks the flavor.
Why would
Wild Berry? No one's ever going to pick you.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Why would brown sugar cinnamon not be an option? That's clearly the best Pop-Tart.
Clearly?
Clearly.
No.
It's not even close.
No.
What?
No. Brent, give him the Pop-Tart that's the best Pop-Tart.
I'd go with OG Frosted Strawberry.
OG Frosted Strawberry
and then
is
maybe
the number 1.
I like s'mores.
I'm not opposed to s'mores. I'm just I
also
OG
like the blueberry.
Frosted
I like the OG blueberry, frosted
Blueberry's
blueberry.
good, yeah. Blueberry's good. But for me, I'm always sticking with the OG strawberry.
I do like
flavor,
some of the when they do the seasonal ones. You can get peach ones every once in a
Okay.
while.
Why are you
peach
guys trying to put
cobbler
fruit
and-
into dessert?
It's not fruit, it's artificial flavoring. So right now in where is this at? This is in LA. This is in LA. It is a brand new restaurant opening up with only Doritos infused dishes. Frito-Lay is turning up the heat with an exciting announcement, the debut of the first ever Doritos restaurant called Doritos After Dark, opening in LA inside Crypto.com Arena. Here are some items on the Dorito-infused restaurant menu. You can get Flamin' Hot Cool Ranch California rolls, like sushi. You can get Doritos Flamin' Hot Churros. You can get Doritos Nacho Cheese Texas Loaded Nachos. a Doritos spicy sweet ramen Rito burrito. Interesting.
Say that 6 times fast.
Yeah. You can also get a Doritos nacho cheese messy taquitos.
I'm in on that. That makes sense.
You can get Doritos sweet and spicy chili chicken bites.
Oh, okay.
This one's kind of interesting. Doritos nachos cheese crunch-tastic vanilla cone.
So that's what's pulled up on my computer right now, and I gotta tell you, I am in all the way.
Yeah, that to me, give me a Doritos flavored ice cream.
I'm in.
I like that.
Nacho cheese flavored ice cream.
Yes,
I like that a lot. So
Sorry, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
So this restaurant will only be accessible to ticket holders during scheduled events at the arena. Do we all like KFC here?
I love
like
KFC.
At one time in their lives, liked KFC.
I don't know that I've
I'm
ever
old
had
en-
KFC.
I'm old enough. I
Are you
remember when it
serious?
was called Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Kentucky Fried Chicken. Well, anyway, for the holidays, Kentucky Fried Chicken is releasing new scented candles, such as the buttery biscuit KFC candle, a bucket of chicken candle, and those are the two candles you can get as far as scented flavors from KFC.
This doesn't surprise me because every Christmas they do a KFC Yule log that you can
Yes,
put on
they
your
do,
fire, and it smells like the however many herbs and spices it is. It's like 11 or 12, something like that. But
Right.
it smells like a KFC, which that would just be awesome.
I don't know if I want my house smelling like a KFC.
My knowledge of KFC goes to the fact that they only follow 5 people on Twitter, and it's the Spice Girls.
Is it really?
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense.
All right.
I actually respect them for that.
So do I.
To be honest with you. And finally, Burger King's latest creation, the pickle fries, have already arrived at Burger King as part of their $1 million Whopper contests.
Pickles are terrible.
So what are they? Just deep fried pickles?
Yeah, pickle
They're
fries.
calling them
That's just
fries?
John Schaefer food.
Let's just back up real quick. You don't like pickles?
No, pickles are awful. It's the worst food on the planet.
I like pickles.
I mean, how Brent feels about onions, I feel about pickles. You give me a sandwich that has pickles on it, I'm not eating that sandwich.
Do you like cucumbers?
Cucumbers are actually okay, especially grilled.
They're the same thing.
They're the same thing.
No,
Just
they're
pickled.
not, though.
That's why,
They're
hence
not.
why they're called pickles.
I understand what they are, but it's not the same.
They'd be like, oh, I love grapes, but man, raisins are gross.
It's a totally different. Like, I understand it's the same thing, but it's totally different once it goes into whatever that briny liquid is.
Well,
I'm out.
Okay. Well, I like pickles a lot. And finally, even though
Except
I
for
said
bread
finally,
and butter. Those are gross.
Chex Mix is going to release new Cinnamon Toast Crunch covered snacks. Cinnamon Toast Crunch has partnered up with Chex Mix to create this must-have snack. It's going to be released next year. It is a cinnamon toast, basically Chex Mix pack.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm doing something smart.
All the sugar I will take. So there you go, guys.
When did the back page become exclusively food?
It kind of morphs into certain things at times.
All
Like
right.
sometimes it's like it started out as like being like outer space and like, oh, we're all gonna die one day.
I like
and-
that a lot.
And then it kind of went to like food and like different things being announced and like it fluctuates. Like it's just
If there's
sometimes
no
it has
meat-
a mind of its own.
If there's no meteorites or asteroids that are going to kill us, we have to talk about something.
Hey, do you want to do another hour, guys? Oh wait, want to do another hour? No, nobody.
You become so soft. You are not the two people that I grew up in this industry with.
No. Wait,
I remember you working hard.
We do work hard.
John does.
Oh, okay. Wow, shots fired. All right, coming up next, that's the pregame. Let's get Jon will take a tip off here. Number 3 ranked Gonzaga at the Viejas Arena here in San Diego. At San Diego State. Stay tuned as the